Live from Mavericks Center in West Valley City, it's Utah Grizzlies Hockey. As this afternoon's the last of a three-game series as the Grizzlies take on the Kansas City Mavericks. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Utah Grizzlies Hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting. Utah's looking to salvage the third and final game of this series as Kansas City's won each of the first two games of this set, outscoring the Grizzlies 11-2. On Friday night, Mikey Coelho scored Utah's lone goal, 9:28 into the second period. It was his first pro goal. He's the ninth different Grizzly skater to score their first pro goal this season. Kansas City got a 4-1 victory in that game on Friday. Coelho, Mike Gillette, and Mathieu Boislar each made their Grizzly debut, and Dylan Wells stopped 30 of 33. Last night, the Grizzlies took a 1-0 lead as Robbie Stucker scored 11:18 into the contest. Riley Connors picked up an assist, and then Kansas City scored one later in the first period with Casey Crew, and then the Mavericks scored 5 unanswered second period goals, including Will Gavin scoring with just a second left in the second period. And then Jack Randall scored his second of the night late in the third period as the Mavericks got a 7-1 victory. Kansas City's had a shot edge in both of the games in this series. Kansas City outshot Utah 34-22 on Friday. And last night, the Mavericks had a 35-25 edge in the shot count. Logan Turnus has been an outstanding goaltender for Kansas City so far in this series. Turnus has won each of the two games for Kansas City. He stopped 21 of 22 on Friday night, and last night he saved 24 of 25. And Turnus will be in there for the third straight day for the Mavericks. He's got a record of 7-1. For the Grizzlies, it's going to be Dominic Massey making his Mavericks center debut. He has stopped 50 of 60 over a two-game stretch with Utah. Massey's a tall goaltender at 6'6" and 197 pounds, and he'll be looking for his first win as a Grizzly. He spent some time in the uniform of the Greensboro Gargoyles earlier this season, but didn't appear in any games. Massey's a former sixth-round draft pick by the Chicago Blackhawks in 2019. He played with 3 different colleges. He was at Colorado College from 2020 through 2022, and then he played 2 years at St. Cloud State from 2022 through 2024. And last year at St. Lawrence University, he was a teammate with Riley Connors. So Massey, a former draft pick, and he did play with 3 really good college programs. He did appear in one game with Pensacola in the SBHL, and he stopped 32 of 33 before signing with the Grizzlies early in January. So we'll see what Dominic Massey brings to the table this afternoon as he'll make his Mavericks center debut, and it will be his third appearance in a Grizzlies uniform. Kansas City's won 11 in a row. They've been an outstanding club as of late. They've only allowed 15 goals during the 11-game winning streak. And as for the Grizzlies, they're looking for their first victory of the 2026 calendar year. Utah's looking to turn things around here on the Mavericks center ice. They're just 3-9-1 here at home, while Kansas City's been an unbelievable road team this season. Mavericks are 12-1-1-1 on the road this year. Kansas City's in first place in the Mountain Division with 54 standings points. That's 5 ahead of Idaho. Kansas City's got a winning percentage of .771, where Idaho in second place has a .662 winning percentage. For the Grizzlies, they come in with a record of 13-19-3 and a .414 point percentage. We'll see what happens. Looks like a good Sunday afternoon crowd is filing in here to Mavericks Center, and we should have a ton of fun as the Grizzlies will take on the Mavericks as Utah is looking to end their 7-game losing slide. When we come back, we'll talk about some of the Grizzlies who are among league leaders in a few statistical categories. We are a day away from the All-Star Classic, which is going to take place in Allen, Texas. Kansas City's Marcus Crawford will be at the All-Star game. He leads the league with 35 assists. He also leads the league with a +39 rating. Representing the Grizzlies is Danny Genev, the rookie out of Penn State. He's been unbelievable this year. He is tied for second among all league rookies with 28 points. We do believe that Reed Lebster is deserving of getting to the All-Star game as well. Lebster has 17 goals, which ranks tied for 4th in the league. And so we'd love to see Lebster at the All-Star game. Unfortunately, the Grizzlies just have one representative, and that is Danny Genev. When we come back, we'll talk about Genev a little bit, as well as some of the other Grizzlies who have performed well in the first half of the season. It's game 36 of 72 for both the Grizzlies and the Mavericks. So after tonight, we will be at exactly the halfway point in the regular season. When we come back, we'll talk some hockey as the crowd's still filing in here on this Sunday afternoon. We're in business on a Sunday afternoon, and you're listening to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Grisby commutes to work by riding UTA. It gives him time to make friends and relax before arriving to the Mavericks Center. But how can Grisby keep enjoying that feeling throughout the entire day? An idea! Utah Transit Authority, proud sponsors of the Utah Grizzlies.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at uofuhealth.org.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting as face-offs in about 15 minutes from now as the Grizzlies take on the Kansas City Mavericks for the final time ever. Utah's 35-31-5 all-time against the Mavericks. Well, there have been some standout performers. We had mentioned Reed Webster in the first segment. He's tied for fourth in the league with 17 goals and tied for fourth in game-winning goals with 4. Danny Genev is tied for the league lead in shots on goal with 141 this season. He is tied for 6th among league rookies with 16 helpers on the year. And Aiden Hansen-Bukata has been a reliable defenseman for the Grizzlies. It's his first pro campaign. He is tied for 4th among rookies with 17 assists. He's also tied for 3rd among rookies with 8 power play points. 8 power play assists, that is. So we'll see what the Grizzlies can get things done on the power play this afternoon. They'll be going up against the number 1 penalty kill unit in the league in the Kansas City Mavericks. Some guys to watch out for in this afternoon's game. You got to think about Robbie Stucker. He might be Utah's best performer against Kansas City this year. He has 2 goals and 4 assists for 6 points in 4 games against Kansas City this year. He did score Utah's lone goal, which came from the right point, and that was halfway through the first period. It did ricochet off the face of Charlie Wright. Wright is not in the Kansas City lineup. Apparently, from what I hear, he got bruised up pretty good, but hopefully he'll be all right. As Charlie Wright blocked a shot off his face and redirected all the way in for a Utah goal in the first period of last night's game. It is important for the Grizzlies to get off to a fast start. Obviously, it's the 3rd game in less than 48 hours, and so fatigue is going to play a bit of a factor, especially for the Grizzlies. They are going with 11 forwards and 5 defensemen. Last night, Zach Plusinski made his Grizzlies and pro debut, the first-year pro out of the University of Notre Dame, but he is not available this afternoon. So the Grizzlies are rolling with 5 defensemen. The injury bug has hit Utah pretty hard, as once again they're going to be without Avery Winslow and Stepan Timofeyev, as well as Rylan Kovacevic, Luke Manning. Noah Gansky's out for the 2nd straight game. Neil Shea misses his 4th straight game. Christoph Filion is out for the 6th straight game, and Zach Plusinski is also out after making his pro debut last night. So we'll see if the Grizzlies can find a way to get back on the winning note. When we come back, we'll give you the lineups for both teams. It's the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to americafirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Welcome back to the Grizzlies Hockey Network. I'm Tyson Whiting. Face-off is in about 10 minutes from now. Let's go over the lineups for both teams. First, for the visiting Kansas City Mavericks, who are led by six-year head coach Tad O'Had. The Mavericks, since the start of the 2023-24 season, have been outstanding. They've got a record of 129, 69, and 4 since the start of the 2023-24 campaign. They're affiliated with the Seattle Kraken and the AHL's Coachella Valley Firebirds. Logan Turnus will get the start in net for the third straight day. He is 6'1" and 174 pounds. He played the last couple seasons at Ohio State University. Last year, he was a teammate with Grizzly defenseman Aiden Hansen-Bukata. In 8 games, Turnus has a record of 7-1 with a 1.98 goals against average and .916 save percentage. Kansas City is one of the best defensive teams in the league, allowing just 2.4 goals per game. But remember, the Grizzlies did score 7 goals against Kansas City on December 19th, and that was a game that Jack LaFontaine, who's currently in the AHL with Coachella Valley. LaFontaine was in net. It was a rare loss for him. So Turnus will be the starting goaltender. Luke Pavicic is going to be the backup. Pavicic has been the backup for the entire series. Kansas City's going with 12 forwards and 6 defensemen. It depends on what Lucas Sauter's replacing Charlie Wright in the Kansas City lineup, and Sauter's a forward. So we're not sure if they're going to go with 13 and 5 or if one of the forwards are going to switch up and play on D. But the Mavericks will start out with a defensive pairing of Luke Lemaster, the former Grizzly. Lemaster is in his 16th game with Kansas City, and he has 3 goals and 5 assists and an even plus-minus rating. Lemaster will be paired up with Hudson Wilson, who's a 6'3", 200-pound defenseman. Wilson is a +7 this season. This will be his 102nd professional game. He has 2 goals and 2 assists in 33 games. So your starting defensive pairing is Lemaster and Wilson, but you got to watch out for Marcus Crawford, who's a favorite for the league's MVP award. He's got an assist in 5 straight games. He had 3 assists last night, and he leads the league with 35 apples, and he also leads the league with a +39 rating. Crawford will be representing Kansas City in the All-Star game. He was the 2022 All-Star Game MVP. So watch out for Marcus Crawford. Zach Ewens will be paired up with him. He's a +24 on the season. And Drake Bergeon's also going to be on the blue line for Tad O'Had's crew. Bergeon has 9 assists in 35 games. So Lemaster and Wilson are the starting defensive pairing. Starting forwards include David Cotton, who scored a goal last night. Cotton has 12 goals and 7 assists in 33 games. He'll be wearing number 13. Jackson Berezowski, the former Newfoundland Growler, is going to be wearing number 17. He has 3 goals and 5 assists and a +4 rating this season. And Casey Crew just seems to be in the right place at the right time all the time. It's his second year as a Maverick. He had 1 goal and 1 assist last night. He'll be wearing number 22. So the starting forward line for Kansas City is going to be Cotton, Berezowski, and Carew. Got to watch out for Justin Janicki, the first-year pro out of Notre Dame. He's got 7 goals and 10 assists this season. Jack Randall had 2 goals and 2 assists last night. He has 14 goals and a +10 rating. Also watch out for Luke Lowhite, who has 22 points in 34 games, and Jackson Judding, who leads all league rookies with 30 points. He also leads rookies with 5 game-winning goals. And Landon McCallum had 1 goal and 1 assist for Kansas City as well. So they're a pretty stacked lineup. And that doesn't even include Jimmy Glenn, who had 3 assists last night. Nolan Sullivan has played well against the Grizzlies in years past. Sullivan will be wearing number 19. He's got a +9 rating. And Will Gavin had 2 goals and 1 assist last night. So really that's the key to Kansas City's success. And there's been a lot of different factors. One, they've had an outstanding affiliation with the Kraken. 2, they've also gotten contributions from every line here in this series, and they've gotten contributions in good depth across the lineup all season long. And they've got a very structured system with a bunch of defensemen who are multiple-year Mavericks. So that continuity has equaled a lot of success for the Mavericks over the last 2.5 seasons. Now for the lineup for the homestanding Utah Grizzlies, who are led by first-year head coach John Buchanan, assistant coaches Ryan Anderson. Grizzlies are 13, 19, and 3 on the year. They're looking to find a way to get a victory here at home for the first time since Teddy Bear Toss Night, which was December 13th, but that was just 3 home games ago, as the Grizzlies have played the fewest amount of home games of any team in the league. This is just the 14th home game of the year, and for the Grizzlies overall, it's game 36 as the end of the first half of the regular season will conclude after tonight's game, as obviously we'll be at the halfway point, and that just happens to be in favor of the All-Star game, which will be tomorrow evening in Allen, Texas. Starting goaltender is going to be Dominic Massey, the former 6th-round draft pick by Chicago in 2019. Massey's making his Mavericks center debut. He appeared in 2 road games for the Grizzlies earlier this month. He has stopped 50 of 60 for Utah, and he's got no 1-1 record. He's a big guy at 6'6" and 197 pounds. Grizzlies are rolling with 5 defensemen this afternoon. Robbie Stucker has been Utah's top-producing scorer against Kansas City this year. He has 2 goals and 4 assists in 4 games against KC. Stucker has 3 goals and 10 assists in 30 games. Remember, he came over in a trade from Reading about a month ago, and he's been an outstanding performer for the Grizzlies. Colby Enns leads all Utah defensemen with a +1 rating. He'll also get a start. He's got 4 goals and 4 assists in 31 games. Aiden Hansen-Bukato also be in the Grizzlies lineup. He leads Utah with 17 assists on the year. He's a first-year pro. He played his college hockey at RIT and The Ohio State University. We'll also see quite a bit of Luke Salem. Salem, in his second full season as a pro, split last year with Indy and Kalamazoo. He has an assist in 3 of his last 5 games. And we'll also see Matu Boislar, who's looking for his first point this season. It'll be his 3rd game as a Grizzly. He was claimed off waivers from Adirondack exactly 1 week ago. So that's the 5 defensemen for John Buchanan's crew. The defensive scratches include Avery Winslow, Noah Gansky, and Zach Pluzinski. Pluzinski made his pro debut last night. Over the last week, Sage Weinstein was recalled to the AHL's Colorado Eagles, and Christian Felton a couple days ago signed a PTO with the AHL's Abbotsford Canucks. So that's the starting defensive pairing, Stucker and Enns. Starting forwards include the All-Star Danny Genev, who has 12 goals and 16 assists in 35 games. Jack Ricketts will also get a start. He's got 18 points in 29 games. He's a first-year pro. And Mikey Quella is making his 3rd pro appearance. Let's get the lineups from PA announcer Mark Larson.
Stucker! On defense, wearing number 5, Colby Enns. At forward, wearing number 26, Danny Genev. At forward, wearing number 28, Jack Ricketts. At forward, wearing number 96, Mikey Colella. And protecting our goal tonight, wearing number 35, Dominic Massey.
So that's the Grizzlies starters. Interestingly enough, it was Luke Salem out there with Robbie Stucker as opposed to Colby Enns. So we'll have to check, make sure that Enns is good to go here this afternoon. So it will be Stucker. It appears in the starting lineup instead of Colby Enns. Kansas City will, as we mentioned, the stars before Lemaster and Hudson Wilson with forwards Cotton, Berezowski, and Casey Carew. For the 3rd straight game, the Grizzlies are wearing a professional green jersey with white numbers, white lettering, a little bit of black mixed in. Most of the black is on the shoulders. It is a sharp-looking jersey. And what is professional green? Well, if you go to Augusta, Georgia, at a particular golf course, it's kind of that shade of green you see. Now we have the colors presented by Taylorsville High School, JROTC, and we'll have our national anthem.
Now, please remove your caps for the singing of our national anthem performed today by the Salters.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, land of the free, and the home of the brave.
Grisby commutes to work by riding UTA. It gives him time to make friends and relax before arriving to the Mavericks Center. But how can Grisby keep enjoying that feeling throughout the entire day? An idea! Utah Transit Authority, proud sponsors of the Utah Grizzlies.
It's a great day for hockey as two big standings points are on the line as the Utah Grizzlies take on the Kansas City Mavericks for the final time ever in the regular season. Utah is 35-31-5 all-time against the Mavericks. It is sensory-friendly day here at Mavericks Center as David Cotton and Tyler Gratton, the two captains, meet at center ice. The Grizzlies are looking to get off to a fast start, and they did play well in the first period last night. They scored the first goal, and it was an evenly played first period. The second and third periods, though, last night were dominated by the Kansas City Mavericks as Kansas City scored 7 unanswered, including 5 in the second period. Dominic Bassey makes his Mavericks center debut. It's his third appearance as a Grizzly. Earlier this season, he was in the uniform of the Greensboro Gargoyles, but didn't appear in any games. Grizzlies will start out with a very fast forward line of Danny Janea, Mikey Koala, and Jack Ricketts. And a defensive pairing of Robbie Stucker and Colby Enns. Interestingly enough, it was Luke Salem that came out, but it looks like it's Enns that's actually going to get the start for Utah with Robbie Stucker. Two referees this afternoon. Dylan Sater and Harrison O'Prey. The linesmen are Craig Peterson and Andrew Collins. Getting the start for Kansas City in net is Logan Turnus. This will be his third straight day in net. He stopped 21 of 22 on Friday and 24 of 25 last night. Ricketts will take the draw against Jackson Berezowski. As referee, Dylan Sater will drop the puck, and we're underway. As Kansas City wins the draw, Grizzlies are skating from right to left as we see it from high top section 114. Lemaster with a right wing feed to Carew. Carew zips to his left. It's picked up by Mikey Quo. Swings and misses, and he gets it back. Tosses horizontally towards Colby Enns along the far wing boards. Carew gets the puck, stops in the left point, fires the righty shot that goes wide. He missed the net stick side on Bassey. Lemaster kicks it off of Ricketts. Ricketts and Lemaster go spinning each other around. Near the Grizzlies bench, Carew enters from the left wing. Left point, fires the lefty liner. And that one's sticked away by Bassey as the puck slides all the way deep into the Kansas City zone. Grizzlies will make their first full line change of the game, and so will Kansas City as Riley Connors is out there with Maxime Barbashev and John Gillette. And Hanson Mukata and Luke Salem are paired up as Randall gets hit along the near wing boards by Salem. Grizzlies only have 5 defensemen this afternoon, so the defensive pairings will be mixed and matched quite a bit. Action in the Kansas City zone. Hanson Mukata, 17 assists this year. He's going up against his teammate, Logan Turnus. They were at Ohio State last season. Turnus, a Kansas City goaltender. Salem dumps it in from center ice. Kansas City has one shot. We're a minute 10 in. Zach Ewens rolls it along the far wing boards. Now turnover. Barbashev gets it knifed away as the puck slides back to center ice and towards Grizzlies ice. As Barbashev moves it across, Mathieu Boislard out to the left wing at the Kansas City line. It taps off a Connors stick, and Connors will skate off the ice as Grizzlies have a forward line of Mike Gillette, the older brother of John Gillette out there, with Sean Kennedy And Genev's out there for Utah as Genev's in his second shift of the game. Grizzlies with an odd number of forwards, so they'll mix and match quite a bit here this afternoon. Towards the right corner, 2-on-2 scrum in the Grizzlies zone. Now a third Maverick joins the play. Geneve gets the puck. He'll race along the near wing, get towards center ice. He loses control as he tried to move it around Drake Bergeron. Now low height, 2-on-1. Right side, will take a righty shot. And ricochets off of Bassey, trying to clear it. Clearing it off the skate is Robbie Stucker. Now left wing, Kansas City gets it. Righty shot, saved by Bassey. Rebound goes to the right side. Low height gets it back. He fires towards the net, and that's sticked away and flies out of play into about row 4 of section 124 as a fan will come away with a frozen vulcanized rubber disc. So Kansas City with 2 shots. Robbie Stucker with the play of the game so far as the puck just laid in the crease and Stucker cleared it off the skate to avoid danger. Jimmy Glenn will take the draw for Kansas City. He had 3 assists last night. He'll be going up against Evan Friesen. Friesen's got a point in 8 of his last 13 games. He has 8 goals and 7 assists in 35 games. Just the start of things, so grab some chips and dip in a beverage of your choice and enjoy part of Sunday with us. Grizzlies wearing their Sunday best with their professional green jerseys, the alternates they've worn all weekend. Kansas City wins the draw as Hudson Wilson will backhand it into the right corner. As taking the puck is Evan Friesen, first-year pro from the Wenatchee Wild of the WHL. Off a couple sticks, they're looking for Reed Webster, who's got 17 goals this year. Colby Enns will tap it off the boards. Enns is a +1 this season. As Gratton got a stick held up by a Maverick. Gratton, the Grizzlies captain, has a point in 13 different games this season. Ahead towards center ice, Janicki was occupied by Hanson Buchanan, so he couldn't play the puck. And it goes all the way down for a Kansas City icing. 17:28 left in the first. That's just the start of things here at Maverick Center. Utah is looking for their first victory of the 2025 calendar year. They did get a standing point in the first game of 2026, and that was January 2nd in Wichita, a game that the Thunder defeated Utah 7-6. That was Dominic Bassey's Grizzlies debut. Face-off won by Utah. They're in the offensive zone as Evan Friesen stops towards the left point, gets to Webster, now back towards Friesen off his stick and slides out to center ice and into the Grizzlies ice. As Stucker backhands it ahead, Gratton drops it for Friesen and races along the left wing. Friesen across to Webster off his stick. Webster regathers it, and he gets pushed to the boards by LeMaster, who started the year with the Grizzlies, playing in 1 game in the first weekend of the season before again getting traded to Kansas City in a 3-team deal. Janicki collides with Salem. Taking the puck is Hanson Buchanan, and he'll feed it towards Salem on the near side. Salem taps it off the boards. Looking for Geneva, gets occupied by Marcus Crawford. Those guys will be teammates in the All-Star Classic tomorrow. As Hanson Buchanan over to Salem along the near wing boards. Salem pitches ahead towards Mikey Quella, and Quella taps it off the stick. It goes deep in the Kansas City zone. Quella gets knocked down. Arm is raised by the referee. That's going to be a power play. It's touched up by the Mavericks. Hooking is going to be the call, 3:29 in. So it's going to be a power play for Utah. As Mikey Quella used his speed to get a power play. As David Cotton can't believe it, but he'll go to the box. Grizzlies looking for their first power play goal of the series. Kansas City has the #1 penalty kill unit in the league at 88.4%. Grizzlies power play this year is tied for 14th in the league at 18.5%. And when you're talking about that line with Geneva and Quella, there's a ton of speed and quickness, and so they're probably going to draw a couple penalties a game just utilizing their speed. Grizzlies won the draw, bouncing puck to Webster in the left point. Webster spins it back around in deep as Gratton skates around Kansas City's net towards the far side. Gratton in the corner gets up top, but it's off a Hanson Buchanan's stick, and it slides back to center ice. Webster gets to the puck before Nolan Sullivan. Sullivan's given the Grizzlies fits over the years as Gratton crosses center ice down the middle. Now he'll drop it out to Webster over the offensive line. As Webster back to Gratton, who spins it to the right side. Puck hit the opposite Geneva's stick. Danny's got the puck. He's got 8 power play points this season, 1 goal and 7 assists. Kansas City whips it around the near wing boards and goes past Webster all the way down towards Dominic Bassey, who cuts it off in the far goal line. So he'll get it towards Hanson Buchanan, who skates around Bassey's net. Hanson Buchanan has 8 power play assists this season. Drops for Webster's. We're still scoreless about 4.5 minutes in. Webster down the middle. So drop it to his right. Grizzlies in the attack zone. Ricketts left side. His shot's blocked by the stick of LeMaster. Hanson Buchanan around the boards. Geneva feeds up top. Ricketts directs it to the high slot. Gratton fires lefty shot. Stick saved by Turnus. Rebound goes to the right side. Hanson Buchanan over to Geneva. As Geneva switches place with Hanson Buchanan. Now Geneva right side. One-timer. Didn't get much on it. And Hudson Wilson clears it all the way out. Puck slides across the ice on its side, and both teams will hit the reset button. Less than 40 seconds left in the power play. Robbie Stucker crosses center ice, and he'll wheel it around the boards. Crawford and Barbashev let it go. Friesen takes the puck. He'll drop it for Maxime Barbashev, who gets to Stucker. Stucker gets the rolling puck, dances around, pivots, now feeds it to his right for Connors. Right point, righty shot, saved by Turnus. After the whistle, looked like a Maverick had a push for John Gillette. 14:51 is the time remaining first period. 20 seconds left in the power play. Still no score. Kansas City's got a pretty good penalty kill unit, and they just make quick decisions with the puck. Get it and clear it out. They don't try to do too much. So Grizzlies with 4 forwards and Robbie Stucker on the ice. As Connors will take the drives out there with Friesen, John Gillette, Barbashev, and Stucker. That's a party of 5. Grizzlies win it. Stucker right side shot, saved by Turnus with Gillette in the area. And it's tapped off the far glass, and it wobbles all the way on its side. It's cut off by Bassey. 10 seconds left in the Utah power play. Stucker kicks it off a Grizzlies skate and Friesen plays along the near wing boards of the Grizzlies zone. Bassey slams his stick on the ice as David Cotton's out of the box. Grizzlies had a shot on that power play, but just one. Friesen off his stick. It flies out of play, hits the top of the net, and almost went over it. 14:25 is left in the first period. And the draw is going to be back at center ice. So it's going to be a center ice face-off. Sean Kennedy making his 6th appearance as a Grizzly. He'll take the draw. Kennedy started the year in the SPHL with the Birmingham Bulls, where he had 6 goals and 15 assists in 27 games. Puck slides towards the Utah blue line near the bench area as Colby Enzo tapping off the boards. Kansas City gets it as Mavericks dance around. Drake Bergeron over towards the near side, and he'll feed it ahead about 15 feet to Lowhide off his stick. Bassey behind his net. Will drill it towards the near side as Ricketts gets hit in the back by Sullivan. Bouncing puck to the right side, taken by Mike Gillette. But Kennedy came in before Gillette was able to enter with the puck, so the Grizzlies are offside. 13:59 is left in the first period. Timeout on the ice. Score, Kansas City's outshot Utah 4-2. This is the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Grisby commutes to work by riding UTA. It gives him time to make friends and relax before arriving to the Maverick Center. But how can Grisby keep enjoying that feeling throughout the entire day? An idea! Utah Transit Authority, proud sponsors of the Utah Grizzlies.
Face-offs near the Kansas City bench. 13:59 is left in the first period. Music's turned down a little bit here for sensory-friendly day. And with that, you can actually have a conversation with the person next to you and not have to yell over the music. Draws one by Kansas City. Not this particular building, but there's other buildings where you got to pretty much yell to just talk to the person sitting 3 feet next to you. As Kansas City whips it in along the far wing boards. Grizzlies skate from right to left as we see it from high top section 114. Reed Lepster gets the puck. He's double teamed. And Lepster got chopped away on the back check by Lucas Souders, appearing for the first time this series. He replaces Charlie Wright. Kansas City out towards center ice. Sullivan will tap it off the near wing boards. He gets around Boislard. Sullivan centering pass, and it kicks off the skate, or make that stick of Souder. Grizzlies come back the other way. Lepster 1-on-2, steps over the offense line, veers off to the right, gets around one skater, fires a righty shot, saved by Turnus. Rebound goes to Kansas City. Mavericks throw it up, and Bukata tried to move it ahead, but swung and missed. The puck slides deep into the Grizzlies zone. Enns will drop it back to the spot he vacated along the near wing. Hanson Bukata, long outlet pass, stretches towards Quella. Ball left side, starts to Genev. Backhand shot saved by Turnus. Boy, Genev didn't get all of it and didn't have much time as he had a Kansas City player all over him. Hanson Bukata, right, left side. His shot goes wide as Genev jumped out of the way, looking to redirect it. Now Genev off his stick as it goes back towards Luke Lemaster in the far corner. He'll fire it off the glass, and it tumbles out of play into row 1 of section 101. As the fans going to come over to the souvenir Almost a typical Sunday afternoon crowd here at Mavericks Center. Looks like Section 113 is filling up pretty good. A lot of fans in Section 103. And Section 124 is just about packed. Very few empty seats in that section. Both teams have 4 shots. The Grizzlies have taken the last 2 shots on goal. Grizzlies won the draw. Barbashev tried to throw one out in front, and it goes wide. Connors runs it down in the left corner. John Gillette gets pushed by Judding. Jackson Judding's been one of the best rookies in the league. He's got 5 game-winning goals this season. As Mavericks plopping out towards center ice, taken by Salem. He'll nudge it ahead towards Gillette. Gillette will backhand it towards the net, and it misses wide as it ricochets off the boards. Connors drops off to the spot he vacated. Gillette and Barbashev battle. Now it slides along the left wing. Salem fires lefty shot, and that's blocked as he got it about shoulder high into a pile of about 3 or 4 players. Gillette around the boards towards Connors. It hits a crazy corner stanchion. Barbashev gets tripped up. That's going to be a penalty. Barbashev went after the loose puck in the right corner, and he got tripped up. Mavericks don't even argue the play. Actually, Tato Had's going to argue a little bit. But going to the box is going to be Marcus Crawford. Crawford doesn't really argue it. He gets a 2-minute tripping minor. So it'll be Utah's second power play of the first period. Crawford was arguing a call early in the third period last night, so much so that he made the referee. I'm not sure what he said to the referee, Dylan Sater, but Sater kind of lost his cool and slammed the penalty door shut. You don't see a referee slam the penalty door, the box door much, but Dylan Sater did. One of the lighter moments of last night's game, at least lighter amongst us here. Grizzlies win the draw. Webster gets towards the left corner. Gratton over to Ricketts. One-timer. Goes wide. It might have bounced off of Jake McLaughlin's stick. Kansas City will fire it towards Hanson Mukata off his knee. Now the Mavericks get it back, and they'll saucer it all the way towards Bassey. Dominic Bassey, the big 6'6" goaltender, drops for Lebster. This Grizzlies leading goal scorer Reed Lebster dangles back and forth across the center ice. He'll chip it to his right. It's batted away by Kansas City. 1-on-3, Jackson Berezowski will sweep it back towards the Mavericks bench. Boy, Kansas City could have been called for too many. In fact, they had 2 guys on the ice. They had about 5 or 6. Grizzlies don't argue it much as Kansas City comes off. As Grizzlies power play is another minute 15. Webster drops it for Genev, who crosses center ice. Genev will be playing a 4-4, 4 games in 4 days, including the All-Star Classic tomorrow. Genev around Kansas City's net. As fans take up a Let's Go Grizzlies chant. Hanson Mukata in the high slot over to Genev. One-timer, and that goes just wide. Didn't miss by much. Gratton throws it back to Danny Genev, the 2 Penn State products. Up top to Hanson Mukata, who's got the blue line near his feet. Over to Genev. Back to Hanson Mukata, who's in the left point. Up top to Genev, the first-year pro out of Penn State. Over to Gratton. Gratton, the Grizzlies captain, across to Hanson Mukata. Down low to Lebster, left circle. Lebster switches places with Hanson Mukata. Now he fires a righty shot, saved by Turnus. As he made a backhand snag, did Turnus, and he holds on. One of the things that Turnus has done a great job this weekend is not allowing rebounds. 35 seconds left in the power play. Both teams will switch up skaters, and the faceoff's going to be in the left circle. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. We know there's a lot of sports and entertainment options out there. We appreciate everybody who chose the Grizzlies in their battle against the Kansas City Mavericks. Draw one by Kansas City. Jake McLaughlin whips it around the boards. Goes past Connors, who extended his stick out, and all the way down along the far wing boards to Bassey. About halfway through the first period. 23 seconds left in the power play. Rink wide feed angle left to John Gillette. He'll push it to the middle of the ice. Kansas City clears it back to center ice where Connors accepts it. Connors fakes it to Stucker. Now slide it across. Stucker gets it along the near boards. Back near the Grizzlies blue line. Grizzlies skate from right to left during the period. Stucker will try to get it to Friesen. It was overled for him. Friesen runs it down. He'll feed it up top. Connors right side. He'll fake a shot, get to Stucker. Crawford's out of the box. He joins the play. Stucker centers it to Friesen. Friesen lefty shot. Saved by Turnus. Boy, Friesen had a pretty good look. Tried to go stick side, and Turnus just kind of sprawled and slid a little bit towards his right. Cut off the shooting angle, and Turnus made another good save. Boy, Friesen looking for that shooting angle, and he tried, and almost looked like he tried to fire it under the right arm of Turnus, but Turnus got his blocker in the way and just kind of pinned it towards his body. Boy, Turnus has had a pretty good weekend, just like Tahoe goaltender Jordan Paperny had a good weekend. Boy, not many rebounds. Grizzlies looking for that second chance, and they've done a good job getting traffic out in front of the net, but there hasn't been too many rebounds for them to collect and take advantage of. Will Gavin's got the puck, and he'll pitchfork it all the way to center ice. Puck will slide towards Bassey. Bassey, wearing number 35, will fire it off the end boards behind him as referee Harrison O'Prey gets out of the way. As Mikey Quell on the near side Tap it off the glass. Puck wobbles in the air and stays in play. Crawford gets the puck. He'll slide it towards Zach Ewens. Ewens a plus 24 this season. As Mavericks will bounce one in like a basketball towards the right corner. Boislard delivers a good check on Jimmy Glenn, who goes 5'11", 174. Mike Gillette behind the net, the former Peoria Riverman. He spent a good 3 or 4 years playing for Peoria. As Jimmy Glenn feeds back up top. Crawford, right point. He'll bounce one off at Janicki, and the puck slides back to neutral ice. As puck rolls along the boards, and the Mavericks make a line change. Mikey Coelho will fire it in as the Grizzlies make a change of their own. Sullivan falls down in the right corner, make that Hudson Wilson. As 2 Mavericks, 2 Grizzlies battle as Turnus looks over his left shoulder. As Lucas Sauter will fire it off the boards. Getting the puck is Hanson Buchanan near the Grizzlies bench. AHB will drift one towards his left for Lebster. Skating in as Friesen came in before Lebster. And Lebster and Friesen collide at the Kansas City blue line. Play stops at 8:38 left in the first. So Grizzlies 0 for 2 on the power play, but they did have some good looks on that second power play. Grizzlies up to 6 shots. Kansas City's taken 4. Mavericks win the draw. Gratton spins around Luke Lowhite. Now Lowhite and Gratton, they exchange. Gratton and Lowhite, they go after it quite a bit. Grizzlies in the offensive zone. Friesen at the left goal line. Skates around Turnus' net. Over to the right side. Righty shot goes wide as Reed Lebster had a one-timer. Now Hanson Buchanan trying to get to Lebster, but almost went through his stick. But ended up towards the right corner. Now the puck's reversed. 2-on-2 scrum along the left wing. Hanson Buchanan looks nearby along with Lebster. Colby ends down the middle of the ice, surveying as Kansas City will skate towards the left corner with the puck. Wilson over to Lemaster. As Sauter back towards Wilson, but he couldn't handle the puck as it goes back to the left corner. Loose puck, Kansas City. Gratton delivers a good shoulder check. Mavericks out to center ice. Sullivan loses control. Hanson Buchanan will bounce it back to Kansas City ice. As Mavericks will reset the offensive attack. Straight version. As he'll slide it all the way about 20 feet to Cotton, who taps it in. As back behind Utah's net. Ends on one knee. Ricketts gets pushed to the boards by Cotton. Hanson Buchanan gets it, and he'll fire it off the glass. Genev gets tripped at center ice. As Kansas City over the offense line. Berezowski 2-on-2. He'll drop it for Casey Crew. Moves it towards the left side. Good stick check by Jack Ricketts to poke the puck away as they're looking to get the puck to David Cotton. Coelho out at center ice. He gets it tapped away by McLaughlin. Carew outlets it towards Cotton, and Cotton backhands it in. Cotton tries to get around Salem, does so successfully, but now Cotton feeds it between the legs of Carew. Crawford down the middle of the ice. Ewens, he'll take a lefty shot, and that's blocked. It was blocked by Ricketts. Puck back to neutral ice. Mikey Coelho over to Genev. He crosses center ice. Grizzlies change up around him. Genev bounces one to Riley Connors. Connors gets hit behind Kansas City's net, and the Mavericks come back up with it. Casey Carew will slide it towards the middle of the ice for Ewens. Ewens guides it towards the left side, and the Mavericks will sky it into the Grizzlies zone. As Boislard over to Barbashev, it goes past him and all the way down for a Utah icing. This play stops with 6:30 left in the first. Grizzlies are grooving on a Sunday afternoon. They are 1-3 on Sundays this season. It's the first Sunday home game for the Grizzlies this year. Last regular season game in team history, April 12th, will be a Sunday afternoon. Last of a 3-game baseball-style weekend series. Mavericks win the draw. Crawford will move it towards the left wing. Lefty shots blocked by Connor's stick. Grizzlies have played pretty well in the first periods of both of the games in this series. Barbashev over towards John Gillette. So we'll get to Barbashev, who gets hit in the back by Ewens. Barbashev towards the right corner, and he'll feed it up top. Connors fires towards the net. That one guided off a Kansas City stick, and Turnus was able to make a shoulder-high save. He holds on with 6:06 left in the first. Game 36 of the regular season. So once today ends, we'll be at exactly the halfway point of the regular season. Grizzlies have had 4 players who have appeared in every game. Danny Genev, along with Evan Friesen, John Gillette, and Reed Lebster. They have not missed a game all year. Faceoffs over in the right circle. Grizzlies have outshot the Mavericks 7-4. Ricketts kicked out of the face-off circle. Sean Kennedy will take the draw. Kennedy played in one game with Tulsa during the 2023-24 season. As Grizzlies win the draw, but it goes between the two defensemen. Hans Mukata out to the left wing for Kennedy, who moves it ahead 20 feet. Now the Mavericks will slice it. Got redirected at center ice, no icing. As Boislard head between the legs of Kennedy. Now Glenn, right side, righty shot. Saved by Bassey. And he holds on in the butterfly position. 5:45 left in the first. Still no score. Draws game in the Grizzly zone on the other side. It's the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
We're 20, and yeah, we're celebrating big. Because in 20 years, we didn't just make the gear. We made hockey cooler. They said we were too loud, too flashy, too different. They told us to tone it down. The Warriors don't tone it down. We go full throttle. And this is just the start. 20 years in and we're just getting warmed up. We're still the brand that makes the gear you can win in, chirping, partying. And if you thought we were bold before, just wait. The next 20 years start now.
5:45 left in the first period. Some guy in the comment section, hey, would you say Mikey Quella's name right? You know how to say it. What'd you tell me how to say his name then? Lemaster right side, fires a righty shot, saved by Bassey. As Stucker towards the right corner. As 2-on-2 scrum along the boards. And now a third Grizzly joins the play. 5:30 on a moving clock first period. Still no score. Lemaster gets it across. Now left wing shot saved by Bassey. Actually might have gotten redirected by a stick in front of Bassey. Lemaster over to the right side. He fires towards the net. Gratton gets a stick in the way. Wilson towards the left side. Back towards Janicki. He's in the far corner. Janicki loses control of the puck. Lepster over to Stucker. He'll fire it off the glass. It's prop towards the high slot. And back to center ice. Janicki dumps it in. At Bassey behind his net. Now Luke Salem has it behind his own net. Salem head towards Friesen. Goes past him to center ice deep in the Kansas City zone. Wilhite battles with Mikey. Apparently we're not saying it right. We're not sure how to say it. As Ricketts towards the offensive line. Over towards the left corner. Koala back towards Hanson Bukata. As now the puck slides back to center ice and into the Grizzly zone. Enns runs it down. And it's all the way down for a Kansas City icing. So there's 4:23 left in the first. So faceoff's going to come back towards Logan Turnus. Grizzlies will be on the road next weekend in Rapid City. Baseball-style 3-game set, Friday and Saturday night games, and Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. And the Grizzlies will be home against Greenville in late January. Off the draw, Genev gets to the middle of the ice, and Hanson Bukata gets knocked down. It's Kansas City out towards center ice. They'll nudge it ahead. As back behind Bassey's net. Enns battles with Sullivan. Enns holds his ground, and Ricketts comes with the puck. Now to center ice for Genev. Crosses center ice. He gets it knifed away by McLaughlin. Genev gets it back. Genev towards the right side. Kicks it off a Kansas City skate. Hanson Bukata in the area. Puck ricochets off the boards. McLaughlin with the puck. 2-on-4. Lofts it over Bassey's head. Bassey got a piece of it with his blocker. This goes back towards Crawford on the right side. As fans make a little bit of noise. Both teams giving what they can here this afternoon, but third game in less than 48 hours, and both teams gave a pretty good effort first two games of this series. Puck towards Mikey Quella off his stick as Casey Crew left wing. Colella will shadow Carew. Now back to the left wing. Cotton with the lefty shot, and that's sticked away by Boislar. And it goes out of play. Both teams pretty aggressive here with their sticks. It's been a pretty disciplined defense style for both clubs. Obviously, the Grizzlies came into the season with a strong defensive identity, and they had a pretty good defensive unit first month and a half of the year, and Grizzlies trying to get back towards that. They faced some tough competition over the last few weeks. Kansas City in first place in the Mountain Division. Tahoe up there in the standings as well. As Utah wins the draw, they get it out towards center ice. Down the middle of the ice, Riley Connors will plop it in. His puck kind of wobbled for a few seconds. Marcus Crawford delivers it towards Ewens. Zach Ewens angles it to the right side over in the corner of the Grizzlies zone. Barzowski around the boards, crew off his stick. Ewens fires lefty shot. That kicks off the ankle of Salem. That one smarted a little bit. Salem back to his feet, but he's limping a little bit. Remember, the Grizzlies only have 5 defensemen today. Connors, left wing, righty shot. Glove saved by Turnus. And he holds on with 2:50 left in the first. The draw's going to be in the Kansas City zone. But for the Grizzlies, they've done a decent job getting traffic out in front of Turnus. As Connors just kind of snapped one towards Turnus. The former Ohio State Buckeyes made some key saves in this whole series. So Draws give me the left circle. First intermission will go over some scores from around the world of sports. Hudson Wilson gets the puck. He'll move it to the far side as Kansas City will race out to center ice. Randall head towards McCallum. McCallum trying to get it back to Randall in the give and go. Grizzlies picked it off. McCallum gets it back. He'll move it to the left circle, now up top. As Wilson slides it across to Lemaster is in the right point. Lemaster feeds to the middle of the ice. As Wilhite drops it. Now left point. Wilson shot, save, scramble out in front. Bassey covers up. Looks like one of the referees spotted a penalty. High sticking is going to be the call. I think it might be on Utah's. Looks like they're checking Jack Randall's face to see if there's blood. Everybody just standing around. There's 5 Grizzlies in front of the crease. Looked like the referee spotted a penalty, but Hanson Bukata, he's looking at the video board. He can't believe it. Hanson Bukata is going to go for high sticking. Well, everybody for about 5 or 6 seconds just kind of stood around. And Hanson Bukata, he wants to see the replay. As they show the replay. And battling for the puck, and then Hanson Bukata. Yeah, got a piece of jutting. Hanson Bukata kind of shakes his head up and down. So the Mavericks will be on the power play for the first time this afternoon. High sticking's a call, 17:37 into the contest. Draw one by Kansas City. Marcus Crawford moves it to the left side. Now back up top to Crawford. Across to McCallum, just outside the right circle, feed it to the right goal line. And looked like Cotton tried to move it across, and the pass misconnected. Puck's whipped in deep the Grizzlies zone. Bassey will sweep it towards his right. As McCallum back to the right corner. As it goes off the Cotton stick. Stucker whips it around the boards. Kansas City dives to keep it in. Ricocheted off Webster's stick. As McCallum off a Grattan stick. Puck slides towards the high slot of the Grizzlies zone. Kansas City enters. Left wing, lefty shot. Saved by Bassey. And he will hold on. Good job by Bassey, just kind of coming out in front of the crease to cut off the shooting angle of Jackson Jutting. And Jutting fired away. Bassey made the stop, and he was able to jump on it before it slid a little bit too far in front of him. Both teams have 8 shots, and there's still no score. Minute 47's left in I'd say quick-moving first period. That's one of the things you learn is you don't want to say quick-moving because then things will slow down. Good Sunday crowd here at Mavericks Center, one of the bigger Sunday crowds we've had. Mavericks win the draw. Crawford helicopters one towards the net. Ricochets off Bassey's shoulder. Now the puck will lift over the crossbar on a redirection. McCallum gets it up top. Crawford fires a shot and gets redirected. It's the outside of the cage as Crawford was looking for David Cotton to redirect it. Remember, Crawford scored a goal in a similar fashion on Friday. McCallum along the right wing boards. Skates slowly towards the corner. Stops, pivots, feeds it back to Crawford. And he directs to the left side. Now the Mavericks are it. Cotton shot and a score. Pass out in front to the right goal line. Randall to Cotton to the back of the net. David Cotton now has a goal in back-to-back games. He has 13 on the year. And it's 1-0 Mavericks. So Kansas City gets a power play goal. It looked like the pass from Randall to Cotton ricocheted off something, but Cotton with good hands was able to gather it and fire it past Bassey. So Cotton with the goal, Randall and Marcus Crawford with the assists. And for Crawford, that extends his league lead to 36 on the year. He had 3 assists last night, and he now has an assist in 6 straight games. So Cotton gets a power play goal, 18:42 into the first period. Draw one by Utah. Geneva will slide it towards Turnus. Turnus cuts it off in front of the crease and keeps the play alive. He's now skating 5-on-5. Now the puck off a stick, and it goes out of play into the Kansas City bench. McLaughlin was going after the loose puck with Jack Ricketts. So Draw's going to be in the Kansas City zone. Mavericks affiliated with the Seattle Kraken. That's been a strong partnership because the Kraken seems to be using that 3-tier system, and they really are valuing having a good ECHL club and supplying them with good players. Grizzlies are in their 8th season as an affiliate of the Colorado Avalanche and Colorado Eagles. Draw one by Kansas City as it rolls along the boards. Drake Bergeron gets it ahead. It goes behind Will Gavin and all the way down for a Mavericks icing. The play stops with 51.1 seconds left. Third game in 3 days for Danny Geneva of the Grizzlies and Marcus Crawford of Kansas City. It's going to be the 4th of 4 days by the end of tomorrow as both players will be representing their respective teams in the All-Star game. Geneva, a native of Brooklyn, New York. He's been a great rookie for John Buchanan's crew so far this season. So face off after linesman says we'll do it over again. Ricketts against Jimmy Glenn. Glenn wearing kind of a college-style mask to protect an injury with his upper body. As puck towards the right side, Colella. We're going to say that until we hear otherwise, until we figure out how to apparently officially say his name. Bergeron will move it towards the Kansas City bench. Goes to center ice, hands to Bukata. Will slide it ahead. Genev right side. He fires lefty shot. Got redirected, but Turnus makes a kick save with his right pad. And the puck is cleared out towards center ice. Genev will sweep one towards Boislar. He's across center ice. Boislar feeds it to Coella. And he'll get towards... I tried to move a pass, but just went about 10 feet. Now Genev, toe drag left wing. And he gets tapped away by McLaughlin. Genev gets thrown towards the right wing boards. Out to center ice, Kansas City. Over the offensive line. As Sullivan around Boislar. Sullivan out the right goal line. Fires in. Boislar as... Now Boislar is going to go after a Maverick as they crash towards Dominic Bassey. Bassey's down on the ice. Time runs out. They might put a little bit of time back on the clock. As looks like we played one period of play. Sullivan tried to get around Boislar, and then Sullivan got towards a crease and just couldn't slow down. Maybe he got nudged in the back. Ran in towards Bassey. Bassey gets up, albeit kind of slowly. Everybody's staying on the ice. They believe they'll add some time to the clock as the horn sounded. And looks like Sullivan's going to get a penalty. Maybe goaltender interference. And interference. It's going to be the call as Sullivan ran into Bassey. Not much of an argument from Sullivan. We're going to work on the clock and see if they can add some time. So it will be a Utah power play. Obviously, just about all of that will be the first 2 minutes of the second period. So they'll put probably not much time. Remember that December 13th game in the second period. They had that miracle with a second left in the second period. 1.1 second. One of the biggest thrilling plays we've seen all season was that late second period, but I think there was 1.1 second left, and Manning won the faceoff cleanly, and Lobster fired away for the goal. And that was the Grizzlies' last home victory. And so obviously we know that it is possible. There's 6 Grizzlies on the ice, as obviously with just 1 second, Bassey's been pulled. So it's going to have to be a clean faceoff when there's 3 Grizzlies behind. Ricketts taking the draw, just a clean win with a shot towards the net. Judding will take the draw for Kansas City as Ricketts will crouch down low. Ricketts taking a ton of the faceoffs here this weekend with Manning out of action. Draw just kind of stays in the faceoff circle. Genev skated towards the net, or towards the puck, but couldn't get a shot off in time, and that will do it for 20 minutes over at Mavericks Center. As Kansas City got a late first period power play goal as David Cotton found the back of the net, 18:42 in. As he was assisted by Jack Randall and Marcus Crawford. So Grizzlies will be on the power play for the first minute and 59 seconds of the second period. When we come back, we'll recap the first period statistically and also go over some scores from around the world of sports. Kansas City outshot Utah 11-9 in the first period. And Mavericks have a 1-0 lead. We'll come back in 2 minutes. This is the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the ECHL, celebrating its 38th season of affordable family entertainment. The ECHL would like to thank everyone in attendance for your support of ECHL hockey. The ECHL would also like to recognize the following league sponsors: AMI Graphics, exclusive signage provider; Athletic Knit, official jersey supplier; Baron Rings, official championship ring supplier; BFL Canada Insurance and Sutton Special Risk, sponsors of the 2026 ECHL Hall of Fame induction ceremony; Dash, official mobile auction platform; The Fairley Group, official commercial insurance provider; Flow Sports, exclusive streaming provider; Hotel Planner, official hotel reservations partner; Howie's Hockey Tape, exclusive hockey tape and lace provider; In Glasgow, exclusive puck provider; Prolific One, exclusive secondary ticketing partner; and Warrior, exclusive on-ice equipment provider and title sponsor of the 2026 ECHL All-Star Classic. Catch all of the ECHL action live in high definition by logging on to flowhockey.tv.
We're 20, and yeah, we're celebrating big. Because in 20 years, we didn't just make the gear. We made hockey cooler. They said we were too loud, too flashy, too different. They told us to tone it down. The Warriors don't tone it down. We go full throttle. And this is just the start. 20 years in and we're just getting warmed up. We're still the brand that makes the gear you can win in, chirping, and partying. And if you thought we were bold before, just wait. The next 20 years start now.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at uofuhealth.org.
Welcome back to Maverick Center. Kansas City has a 1-0 lead as David Cotton scored a power play goal, 18:42 in. Marcus Crawford and Jack Randall picked up the assists. Just one of those that Randall had the puck along the left side. It glanced off a stick, but Cotton with good hands was able to corral the puck and fire it past the goal line. Kansas City's 1-for-1 on the power play. Grizzlies right now are listed as 0-for-2 on the box score, but they're just starting out their second power plays. Nolan Sullivan got a goaltender interference minor, 19:59 in, and so for that, the Grizzlies will be on the power play to start the second period. It is Utah's third power play of the night as Cotton got a hooking minor, 3:29 in, and then Marcus Crawford got a tripping minor, 7:52 in. So it is going to be the third power play for the Grizzlies to start the second period. Of the 9 shots Utah had in the first period, Riley Connors, Reed Lepster, and Danny Genev each had 2. Evan Friesen, Aiden Hansen-Bukata, and Tyler Gratton had 1. For Kansas City, Luke Lohheit leads away with 3 shots. Jack Randall with 2 shots, and a handful of Mavericks with 1 shot each. There are some stats of the first period. Kansas City won the faceoff battle 13-10. Remember, the Grizzlies are without Luke Manning for the 10th straight game, and he's taken and won a lot of the key faceoffs for the Grizzlies. Both teams with 4 scoring chances. Mavericks out shooting the Grizzlies 11-9. Kansas City with 4 power play shots, and the Grizzlies with 3. So it's interesting. Kansas City just had that 1 power play, but managed to get 4 power play shots. Neither team with a shorthanded shot. Grizzlies with 9 hits, Kansas City with 8, and quite a few giveaways. 5 for Kansas City, 6 for Utah. It is the third game in less than 48 hours. They know these great athletes are giving everything they can, but it is a little bit tough on the body, and it's probably as much of mental fatigue as it is physical But nevertheless, that's just kind of what both teams have to deal with. And because it's both teams in a 3-game series, both teams are kind of dealing with the same conditions. It really wasn't outside of that power play goal that was scored by Cotton late in the first period. It wasn't evenly played first period. And really, all 3 games in this series had first periods that were pretty evenly played. It's one of 6 games in the league this afternoon. Other games in progress. In fact, it looks like there's just one in progress. And after 2 periods, Bloomington leads Toledo 1-0. Abramov has the lone goal for the Bison. Games have gone final. Guy Krenz and Jared Youngman's Atlanta Gladiators get a 3-1 victory. Cipollone, Nolan, and Denemy have the Atlanta goals. Former Grizzly Keaton Mastrodonato had the lone Greenville goal. And don't forget, for the Grizzlies, their next homestand is going to be against Greenville, January 28th, 30th, and 31st. We're just 13 days away from the final Guns N' Hoses extravaganza in team history. But there's going to be 3 charity games in the afternoon leading up to the Grizzlies game at 7:10. It's going to be a ton of fun. Grizzlies and their management over the years have kind of treated Guns N' Hoses night as pretty much their version of the Super Bowl. And so it's certainly a big game every year. And this season's going to be no different as we honor police officers, first responders, and also on firefighters. And we have the police officer versus firefighter charity games in the afternoon. That's been going on for many years. And I actually saw practice for one of those games earlier this week, and so that they're certainly going to be hotly contested. The final game of the charity games, the one that's played late in the afternoon, certainly is hotly contested. You see fights and you see all sorts of stuff during that game, and it's going to be a special one, partly because it's going to be the final one in team history. So that's going to be 13 days from now, and you're going to want to make sure to get your tickets now, because by the time we get towards January 31st, that game might turn out to be a sellout. So get your tickets to UtahGrizzlies.com and join us for the final Guns N' Hoses night in team history. Remember, if you get a ticket to the Grizzlies game that night, it will be good for you to get in. That ticket is good to get you in for the charity games. Other finals across the league. South Carolina gets a 4-0 win over Savannah. Trois-Rivières shuts out Adirondack 3-0. And for Trois-Rivières, Hunter Jones picks up the 25-save shutout as Trois-Rivières defeats Adirondack 3-0. And Maine gets a 4-3 win over Worcester. Former Grizzly Andrew Nilsson picks up a goal for the Maine Mariners. He now has a 4-game point-scoring streak. So that's the action across the league. There's only 3 NHL games today. The Utah Mammoth got a big 6-3 victory over the Seattle Kraken yesterday afternoon. The Mammoth will be in action next on Wednesday, taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. The Grizzlies NHL affiliate, the Colorado Avalanche, is not in action today, but the Avalanche will be on national TV tomorrow afternoon as they take on the Washington Capitals. Avalanche are 6-3-1 in their last 10 games, and overall this season, they are 33-5-8. And Washington comes into Monday's game with a record of 24-19-6, and that will be on national TV on TNT as the second of a doubleheader. Earlier in the day, the Sabres, Josh Stone and Michael Kesselring and company will take on the Carolina Hurricanes, and Carolina's kind of quietly having a good year. They are 30-15-4 on the season. There's 3 games in the National Hockey League today. One has gone final. Lightning defeat the Stars 4-1. And so Tampa comes away with a 3-goal victory. Let's see if Charles Edward Dastu is in the Tampa lineup. And he was. He picked up 1 assist and was a +1. Dastu played 22 minutes and 20 seconds. He had 25 shifts. He had 3 shots on goal. He had 1 block. He had 1 hit. And he had 1 takeaway. So good night for Charles Edward Dastu as the Lightning defeat the Stars 4-1. Dastu was part of the 2022 All-Star Classic. And that was a game where Marcus Crawford, the current Kansas City defenseman, he was the game's MVP. And Dastu in his first season in the NHL, he was the League Defenseman of the Year in 2022, and he broke a league playoff record with 19 goals. And he did it in just over 2 playoff rounds, and he did so as a defenseman. Most of them came on the power play. Most of them were assisted by Ben Tardif. So it's a lot of fun to see Charles Edward Dastu doing some great things. Now, if we can just get his jersey available on NHLshop.com. Even if you go to the custom jerseys and if you try to type in his name, they won't accept the apostrophe. So trying to get a Dastu jersey apparently is going to be pretty tough. We'd love to see if we can get a Dastu jersey by the next couple months. I'd love to get one of those Dastu jerseys that they're going to be wearing for the Stadium Series in a couple weeks from now. That's going to be 14 days from now. And luckily, the Grizzlies don't have a game that day, so we can see it. So we're certainly thrilled to see Charles Edward Dastu doing some great things over with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And Tampa got a 4-1 victory over the Dallas Stars. After one period, Senators lead the Red Wings 2-1, and getting underway at 6 o'clock, so 2 hours from now, the Blues are at the Edmonton Oilers. When we come back, we'll talk some hockey and go over some NFL playoff scores as we're through one period here at Mavericks Center, and Kansas City leads Utah 1-0 on a David Cotton power play goal. First intermission here at Mavericks Center. Good Sunday afternoon crowd. You're listening to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at uofuhealth.org.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
After one period, Mavericks lead the Grizzlies 1-0. Utah's looking to salvage the third game of the series. Final regular season meeting ever between the Grizzlies and Mavericks. Utah's 35-31-5 all-time against Kansas City. NFL playoffs, late fourth quarter, the Patriots lead the Texans 28-16. Rough afternoon for C.J. Stroud, the Texans quarterback. One touchdown pass, but he has 4 interceptions. All of them came in the first half. Texans only 48 rushing yards. And for the New England Patriots, Drake May has 3 touchdown passes, 1 interception. Patriots with 96 rushing yards. That's late in the fourth quarter. Texans looking for a comeback. They have the ball in their own territory. 5.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Patriots 28, Texans 16. Getting underway in about a half hour from now is the NFC Divisional Playoffs. The Rams will take on the Bears in frigid Soldier Field. Rams are 13-5 on the year. Bears are 12-6. Rematch of the 1985 NFC Championship game where the Bears in the 46 defense shut down Eric Dickerson, and the Bears shut out Dieter Brock, who was the Rams quarterback at that time. That was about 40 years ago, and they will do battle at Soldier Field in the NFC Divisional Playoffs. The winner of that game will take on the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC Championship game. AFC Divisional Playoffs, obviously Patriots with a fourth quarter lead. The winner of that game will take on the Denver Broncos. Are gonna have to do it with a backup quarterback. Jarrett Stidham is going to be quarterbacking the Broncos as Bo Nix is out with a broken ankle. So that's the NFL scores. We mentioned the 2 players going to the All-Star Classic. We forgot to mention Kansas City head coach Tad O'Had is going to go to the All-Star game as well. Tad O'Had in his 6th season as Kansas City's head coach. And really the first 3 years, the Mavericks were about a 500 club, give or take a couple games. But with the affiliation of the Kraken and really just getting that continuity and having a bunch of players who have come back from year to year, they've really built something in Kansas City. And certainly I think we had all known that Kansas City was a bit of a sleeping giant. You got a pretty good market, and their owner is Lamar Hunt Jr., who's part of the Hunt family, who owns the Kansas City Chiefs and the MLS club. And, Lamar Hunt was one of the founding fathers of the American Football League back in the early 1960s. And so Kansas City once a sleeping giant, and now they're just a giant in this league. For the Grizzlies, obviously a lot of new faces. Mikey Koala, made his Grizzlies debut, scored a goal in the second period on Friday night. You've got Boislard making his Grizzlies debut Friday. He's one of 5 defensemen. And Mike Gillette, the older brother of John Gillette's been playing this weekend. Grizzlies picked up Sean Kennedy Early last week, he's appearing in a 6th game for the Grizzlies. So a lot of new faces, and Grizzlies haven't had a ton of practice time, and it's tough to get practice time considering that the weekend series are all 3-3s. So you got to conserve a little bit of energy. And so it's a little bit more mental reps and reps, kind of working through video and where players need to be more than getting out on the ice and physically going through the motions. So it's been a little bit of a rough go of it for the Grizzlies in that regard. And we kind of mentioned some of the transactions that have happened, and the Grizzlies have had a few call-ups to the AHL. Just this past week, Sage Weinstein and Christian Felton, who are a dependable defensive pairing. They're both up in the AHL. Weinstein with the Eagles, and Christian Felton signed with Abbotsford a couple days ago. And obviously a lot of injuries. You talk about Noah Gansky being out for the 2nd straight game. Avery Winslow has played in 7 games for Utah, and he really is a dependable defenseman, but he's been out of the lineup. He hasn't played since early December. Rylan Kovacevic, a first-year pro that's got a lot of promise. He's been out since mid-November. Luke Manning's missing his 10th straight game. Neil Shea's out for the 4th straight game. Stepan Timofeyev's out for the 5th straight game. So those things are just kind of piled up, and everybody that's out of the lineup due to injury, they're dependable players. When you talk about 6 or 7 guys, that certainly adds up. So we'll see what the Grizzlies do here in the 2nd period. For the 3rd straight game, the Grizzlies played a pretty evenly matched 1st period. And to get a little bit of momentum, remember the Grizzlies will be on the power play to start the 2nd period. We'll see if they can get something generated and see if they can find a way to find the back of the net and get on the board against a good goaltender in Logan Turnus. When we come back, we'll have 2nd period action. You've been tuned in to the Intermission Report on the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe that you should get more from less. Like exclusive tires we design ourselves means more tires made for the roads that you drive, less compromise. And we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. It's more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. And our 60-day satisfaction guarantee means you'll be way more satisfied and way less stressed. For all this and more, you get more from less.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to AmericaFirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Begun action here in the 2nd period. Grizzlies on the power plays. Reed Lebster rolls along the boards. Grizzlies skating from left to right here in the period. Hanson Bucanda, Lebster back up top to AHB's in the high slide. He'll slide towards his right and get it to Lebster. Lebster feeds back up top to Hanson Bucanda, directs it horizontally to Genev. Genev will skate towards Hanson Bucanda as both skaters will switch places. Genev lays it for Lebster on the right point across to Hanson Bucanda just outside the left circle. Up top, Lebster over to Genev, who feeds to the middle of the ice, but Gratton got a stick lifted and couldn't accept the puck. Lebster in the left wing over to Genev. As we have 1:20 left in the power play. Drops for Lebster. Lebster feeds it to Gratton. Right side shot saved by Turnus. And loose puck out in front as ricocheted off Turnus. As action behind Turnus as he looks over his left shoulder. Big scrum. Grizzlies come out with a little bit of spirit in the 2nd period. As Kansas City gets bounced to the boards. And Judding will pitchfork it out. As the puck will ricochet off the near boards. And both teams will switch up skaters. Dominic Massey will drop it for Hanson Bucanda. As Grizzlies made about a half-line change. Bucanda across towards Riley Connors. Now Bucanda will come off. He's replaced by Stucker. Genev slides one across to Friesen in the right point. Evan Friesen tried to curl it towards Connors, instead kept it. Now he gets up top to Connors. Over to Stucker. One-timer goes just wide as John Gillette did a good job occupying as a screen in front of Turnus. As Kansas City's Berezowski gets towards the Utah line, and he'll nudge it ahead towards his left. As now we got about 20 seconds left in Utah's power play. As Grizzlies will bounce it off a Mavericks skate, and it goes back deep in the Grizzlies zone. So the Mavericks will switch up skaters. Sullivan's in the box for the next 10 seconds. He's serving a goalie interference minor. Rink wide feed. Friesen has to go past him, but he did get a piece of it, so no icing. As Sullivan's out of the box. Utah's now 0 for 3 on the power play. They haven't had many power play opportunities in this series. Colby ends. We'll get it towards center ice for Barbashev. Barbashev skates down Broadway. Toe drag. Lefty shot goes high. Might have glanced off a Kansas City stick as it was rising towards Turnus. Sullivan at center ice. Back checked, and Connors takes it away from him. Grizzlies over to Barbashev. He'll tap it off his stick. Turnus behind his net. Will drift it around the boards. Sullivan, left side. Gets cut off by Hans Mukata. Genev. Mikey Koala has his stick hanging along the boards. His stick is literally stuck to the boards. The penalty box attendant had to open the door as Koala had the pup. He went to skate to the bench, got a new stick. As Friesen ahead towards Sean Kennedy, who dumps it in, chases after it. Kennedy over to the left corner, avoids a check. As he'll tap it off the skate of Lemaster. Boislar with a shot. It's blocked by Jimmy Glenn. We played 3 minutes of the second period. Kansas City still leads 1-0. Boislar gets held up to the boards by Janicki. Janicki skates back to the Kansas City line. Now reverses. Field skates along the right wing. Plops it towards the Grizzlies line. Gloved and dropped by Stucker. As Kansas City argued that Stucker had the puck held in his glove. Kansas City gets it across. Gavin, lefty shot, and it goes over Bassey's glove and off the glass. Kennedy out to center ice. Grattan battles with the Maverick. It's towards the end of Grattan's shift. As Friesen steps over the offense line, gets pinned by Glenn. As Grizzlies will switch up forwards. Gavin, left wing. And he'll slide it along the boards. Genev battles with the Maverick. Now Danny Genev nudges it ahead and chases after it. He'll let Ricketts play it. 3-on-2. Ricketts to Genev. Back across. Koala lefty shot. And a blocker saved by Turnus. Boy, Mikey Koala with a pretty good look, but Turnus made a nice blocker save. Turnus been impressive for Kansas City this weekend. Mavericks over the offensive line. Randall dances around before he gets to the corner. He'll slide it along the boards. Puck towards the right side. Genev in the area, and Genev takes it away. Danny Genev's got quick hands. Over to Koala. I tried to move it towards Ricketts. Delayed offside as Kansas City picked it off. Ricketts disappointed as he'll skate towards the bench. But it is a very quick forward line led by Genev and Ricketts, with Mikey Koala, who's certainly played good hockey this weekend. Down the middle of the ice, shot and is blocked by Barbashev. Barbashev plays a physical two-way brand of hockey, and he's been pretty good for the Grizzlies over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Ends battles with McCallum. Puck goes towards Connors. Riley Connors will throw it towards the near wing boards and chase after it. Eye gets cut off by Cotton. David Cotton with a pretty good defensive play, and Cotton's another one of those strong two-way forwards. Kansas City has the back of their blue line. Very quiet crowd here at Mavericks Center. Everybody just kind of chilling in a Sunday afternoon. Ends off at Cotton. Barbashev gets the puck. The brother of Ivan Barbashev skates down the middle of the ice, splits a double team. Barbashev will throw it to the left corner and chase after it. Barbashev and Ewens collide. Puck up top. As Boislar with a lefty shot that goes wide, but Boislar does have a pretty strong shot. He's utilized it on a few occasions this weekend. Stucker lifts it off his stick. It might have gotten off Cotton's stick. And it flies out of play off the protective netting. 14:31 left in the second period, and the Mavericks still lead 1-0. For Utah, they're looking for their 4th home victory of the season. Kansas City's actually played a ton of home games. It's only road game 16 of their 36 for the Mavericks, but they've been an outstanding road club at 12-1-1-1. For the Grizzlies, they played the fewest amount of home games of any team in the league, 14 of 36. So that means Utah will be home for 24 of the final 36 games of the regular season. Webster gets up top. Stucker with the blue line nearby. And so fired intentionally off the end boards. Webster and Lemaster collide. They were teammates at the end of last season. As puck along the near side, Kansas City takes it. Lucas Sauter, first time he's played in this series. He's got fresh legs. He'll dump it into the left corner as he closed the gap. But Boislar cuts him off and tries to box him out away from the puck. Boislar using his body, 220 pounds, might be the strongest Grizzly. Up top, Kansas City. They fire towards the net, and Friesen gets a stick in the way. Low height towards the right wing. He's in the offensive zone. He'll fake it, keeping himself. Now he helicopters one towards the net. It's blocked towards Bassey. Rebound shot towards the right goal line. Bassey makes the save, and the Grizzlies build a five-man wall to protect Bassey as he covers up with 13:45 left in the second. So draws give me the Grizzlies on the other side. Mavericks still lead 1-0. It's the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Grisby commutes to work by riding UTA. It gives him time to make friends and relax before arriving to the Maverick Center. But how can Grisby keep enjoying that feeling throughout the entire day? An idea! Utah Transit Authority, proud sponsors of the Utah Grizzlies.
We're 20, and yeah, we're celebrating big. Because in 20 years, we didn't just make the gear. We made hockey cooler. They said we were too loud, too flashy, too different. They told us to tone it down. The Warriors don't tone it down. We go full throttle. And this is just the start. 20 years in and we're just getting warmed up. We're still the brand that makes the gear you can win in, chirping, and partying. And if you thought we were bold before, just wait. The next 20 years start now.
13:45 left in the second period. Draws game in the Grizzlies zone. Kansas City leads the shot count 14-11. Grizzlies coming into this series were averaging about 42 shots per game over the previous 6 games, but Grizzlies have been outshot in each of the first 2 games in this series. Mavericks win the draw. The linesman says we'll do it over again. The linesman dropping the puck is Andrew Collins. Both Collins and Craig Peterson are local linesmen. They've been around for quite a few years. Collins has been around just a little bit longer than Peterson. Grizzlies win the draw. Hans Mukata around the boards towards neutral ice, but was kept in by Glenn. Now it goes to center ice. Glenn off his stick. Grizzlies skate from left to right here in the period as John Gillette will backhand it towards the Kansas City corner. Mikey Quella collides with a Kansas City player. His brother John gets it. John's younger than Mike. Enns will bounce it over the stick of Mike Gillette. The puck slides from the far goal line and is covered up by Turnus. He holds on with 13:20 left in the second. The nonprofit of the night is the Autism Council of Utah. ACU is an independent council working to foster collaboration, communication, and learning among families and agencies. Our aim is to promote across to resources and responsible information for individuals of all ages who have or are affected by autism or related conditions. So the Autism Council of Utah is here today. We're certainly thrilled to have him here. Grizzlies won the draw. Genev, sharp angled shot saved by Turnus off his right shoulder. As Kansas City's Jack Randall tried to move it ahead towards McCallum at the Utah lines, picked off. Now McCallum gets it back as he's got Ricketts on the back check. McCallum had his stick lifted and Stucker will reverse the puck as the ricocheted over a Kansas City stick. No icing on the play deep in the Kansas City zone. As Coella gets bounced off his right shoulder. Now left wing. Shot. Now Coella, lefty shot. Kick saved by Turnus. Oh, I think it hit the far post. And some of the fans thought it went in, but it hit the far post. And the Irons unkind. It's still 1-0 Kansas City. But this is a forward line now skating in. Lefty shot and a score. And the Mavericks get back on the board. Jackson Judding got the puck with some momentum in the left circle, and he fired it through Dominic Bassey. Judding gets his 15th of the year, and it's now a 2-0 game. Boy, tough break. There's kind of a scramble play in front of Kansas City's net. Coella just fired it off the far post, and Kansas City came back as they show the replay on the shot, and it just rang off the post, never did cross the goal line. And then the Mavericks came back with some momentum as Randall was to the middle of the ice. He was able to get towards Judding, and Judding got the puck in the left circle with some momentum. Didn't fire it high, didn't fire it low, just somehow got through Bassey. So Jetting with the goal and Jack Randall with the assist. Time of goal 7:23 in. So it's now a 2-0 Kansas City lead as the Mavericks will hop one from neutral ice on to Bassi, who collects it on one bounce of the ice, and he holds on with 12:26 left in the second. Unfortunately, this weekend, if you're talking about some of those breaks and bounces, they've gone Kansas City's way. A couple more inches towards the inside. Who knows, maybe that thing hits the post and rattles in. They always talk about a game of inches, and that's true in just about every sport, and hockey's no different. But that forward line, if we're talking about the one that's produced a few scoring chances, that's been the Ricketts, Genev, and Coella line. Puck off the glass, out of play as the Grizzlies try to clear it out. And face-off will come back into the Grizzlies zone. Later on this week, the Grizzlies will have a 3-game series against the Rapid City Rush. There's assistant coach you're watching on Flow Sports, Brett Ferguson. He was the interim head coach of the Allen Americans last season. Ferguson looks up and sees himself on the video board. Draws on the right circle of the Grizzlies zone. Mavericks win the draw. Grizzlies skate from left to right here in the period. Utah in the professional green jerseys tonight. Barbashev and Hanson Bukata climb with a couple Mavericks. Colby Enns gets the puck. He'll skate towards Bassi. Now he pivots, and he'll fire the puck off the near boards. Cotton kicks it back into the Grizzlies zone. Hanson Bukata gets it, and he'll skate in front of Bassi, and he'll slither it towards his right. Connors gets spun around with Jack Randall. Now it's tapped in by Gillette, who will chase after it. John, that is. John and Mike Gillette out of Middletown, New Jersey. That's a center ice. I believe his family made the trip, the Gillette brothers. They're certainly thrilled to have Mike and John Gillette on the same club. They were both in the starting lineup yesterday. Cotton gets to the right side. Carew, righty shot. Stick saved by Bassi. Bassi, the former 6th-round pick by the Chicago Blackhawks in 2019. Ahead towards Barbashev. It goes past him as Connors is looking for him near the Kansas City line, and Utah is called for icing with 11:26 left in the second. A few former Grizzlies on that Rapid City roster. And Briley Wood, who led the Grizzlies in goals last year. Ryan Wagner, the Rapid City captain, he was with Utah during the 2019-2020 season. And Cameron Buell, who was with the Grizzlies for a couple months last year. Buell at times, he was a forward for the Grizzlies and at times played on the defensive unit. Buell had a 2-goal game earlier this week, and so they'll be playing for Rapid City next week. Although Briley Wood's one of those guys, as being a talented forward, he would be one of those guys that can bounce up and down from the AHL to ECHL. Rapid City's NHL affiliate is Calgary. Off the draw, righty shot, and that's blocked by Bassi in the butterfly position. Now right side, righty shot is blocked by the stick of Barbashev. Both teams have been very active and useful with their sticks in the defensive zone. Puck up top, Hudson Wilson dangles back and forth. Now slide back towards the blue line. Now he feeds to the right side. Righty shot saved by Bassi. Rebound, great defensive play by Riley Connors. If Wilson would have gotten control of the puck, he would have had a good scoring chance. Grizzlies ice it, but Riley Connors was in the right place at the right time as Wilson was trying to accept the rebound just inside the left circle, and Connors cut him off. Grizzlies have some forwards that play a strong two-way game, and Riley Connors has certainly been one of them. First-year pros, Connors spent the latter part of last season with the Grizzlies. There's Bassi, and then right there getting the rebound, Connors and Wilson got there about the same time. As Kansas City wins the draw, is jutting towards center ice, along with Janicki. Justin Janicki out of Notre Dame, first-year pro. Puck off a stick, and Boislard will move it ahead. Barbashev towards neutral ice. Fired off the near wing boards. Grizzlies skate from left to right here in the period. As Granton knocks down Drake Bergeron. Puck to center ice. As Jimmy Glenville fired off the boards. Will Gavin collides with Enns. Enns has pretty good size at 6'2", 201 pounds. Puck slides back to neutral ice. Kansas City's Justin Janicki gets around Gavin. Pivots, gets towards center ice, and loses control of the puck. Both teams are giving everything they can. As Stucker angles one long range for Gratton, and ricochets off the boards, and Gratton couldn't reach it. Icing on Utah with 10:10 left in the second period. So we're about halfway through the scheduled 60-minute affair. Both teams are giving everything they can, but unfortunately with fatigue settling in, we're already seeing a lot of sticks on knees and just a tough set of circumstances, obviously, for both clubs, considering these are finely tuned athletes, but considering the effort they give it night in and night out. These third game in 3 days are certainly tough for everybody. Cotton scored a power play goal, 18:42 into the contest. Marcus Crawford and Jack Randall with the assist. Grizzlies ice the puck again, and now it's waved off as Reed Webster is stride for stride with Marcus Crawford. As McCallum has the puck, he'll bounce one towards the center ice area near the bench area, and it's swept in by the Mavericks. Judding scored 7:23 into the second with Randall and Bergen getting the assists. Jack Randall has 2 assists this evening after scoring 2 goals and 2 assists last night. 9:42 on a moving clock. Kansas City down the middle of the ice. Lefty shot. That one misses high over the crossbar, and that was taken by Judding. As now Ewens, Zach's his first name, pedals to the blue line nearby. Now McCallum gets towards the right wing. As now Kansas City skating towards their left. Judding moves it across. Now Evan Friesen's got breakaways. He picked it off. Friesen skates in. Lefty shot. Saved by Turnus. Friesen went low, tried to go 5-hole under Turnus, and the Kansas City goaltender closed the door. Friesen and Riley Connors in particular have had some really good scoring chances over the last handful of games, and they've been robbed by good saves many times. Kansas City looking for a long-range feed. Misses for an icing. Well, Evan Friesen had a golden opportunity to get Utah on the board as Kansas City with a careless behind-the-back pass. Nobody was there except for Friesen. Friesen down the middle. Does he go high? Does he go low? He thought there was some room low, and Turnus closed the door quickly. If you're a guy like Evan Friesen or really any skater that's got a breakaway, you're just reading the goaltender. And it looked like he read that he might have had some room low. Grizzlies win the draw. Geneva fires towards the net, looking for Koala to redirect it, and it bounced off of Turnus. Ricketts with the puck. This has been the forward line that's generated some chances for the Grizzlies. Geneva over to Ricketts, and he gets it poked away as Landon McCallum drops it. And on the back check by Ricketts, trying to keep it in and take it away from Judding, but the puck goes out to center ice. And now Cotton went down. Hand pass is going to be the call as Ricketts was in the area trying to challenge Cotton. And the Mavericks are called for a hand pass with 8:41 left in the second. So draw's going to be at center ice. We had mentioned the Rapid City series this upcoming weekend. It's going to be at the Monument over in Rapid City. First meeting this season between the Grizzlies and Rush. Next homestand for the Grizzlies will be a 3-game set against Greenville, January 28th, 30th, and 31st, a Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Face-off all 3 nights will be at 7:10. We mentioned the Guns N' Hoses extravaganza will be on Saturday, January 31st. Face-off at center ice is won by Utah. Kennedy has a tap off his stick. It advances about 10 feet. Now Kennedy battles with a Maverick skater as Connors took it away from Carew. As Boislar tried to dump it in and went just to the Kansas City line, and Kennedy reversed it along the wall. Kansas City will plop one to center ice. Boislar off his glove as Connors fires it back in. As Turnus off his stick, puck slides to the far side. As Carew lifted his right hand, signaling to his teammate. Now Boislar left side. His shot's blocked by Carew as the puck wobbles towards the right corner. It goes into the restricted area, so Bassi stays in his net. Boislar and Carew gets there about the same time. Carew, as mentioned yesterday, seems to be that guy that's in the right place at the right time just about every time. As he's in the second year with the Mavericks. Connors trying to dump it in. It bounced off a stick as the Grizzlies are making a line change. Now Utah has a tap Anderson be caught down the middle of the ice. Toe drags to the right circle, fires a lefty shot, and it's blocked by Hudson Wilson. See Mavericks with a strong outlet pass, north-south feed along the right wing off of Sullivan's stick. Stucker towards the left corner. Hanson Bucata battles with Sullivan. Utah gets to Gratton. Gratton, horizontal pass to Friesen. Friesen 2-on-3 crossing center ice. Trying to get to Lepser is overled for him. Kansas City gets it back. McLaughlin at the near goal line. Outlet pass to the Kansas City line for Souter. Souter will feed it angle right towards the Kansas City bench. Mavericks skate in, but they're offside. 7:06 is left in the second period. It's 2-0 Kansas City. Cotton with a late first period goal, and Jackson Judding made it 2-0 as he scored 7:23 in. Shot count, Kansas City with 18, Utah with 14. Let's see who's leading the Grizzlies in shots. Danny Genev came into play time for the league lead with 141 shots. He leads Utah with 4 this afternoon. Friesen, Connors, Webster, and Gratton each have 2. Luke Salem's on the ice with Colbiens. Salem was limping a little bit after blocking a shot a few minutes ago. Grizzlies with just 5 defensemen this evening. There have been on occasions where they've had a forward act as a defenseman, but they haven't had that happen here so far today. Kansas City will back it out slowly into their own zone. Both teams with a very patient approach. Both teams have been very active with their sticks. As Mavericks outlet pass to center ice, and it's dumped in by Jimmy Glenn. As Massey rolls to the far side. Now the Mavericks will tap it across, but it's off a Grizzlies stick out to center ice. McLaughlin will skate back towards the Kansas City line, keeping his head up. Left wing feed to Janicki. Glenn, if he would have gotten it to Gavin down the middle of the ice, Gavin could have had a breakaway. Gavin will just fire onto Bassey, who sweeps it towards the near wing boards. Ewens across to Crawford. Crawford off the wall as Janicki gets pinned by Enns. Mavericks fit in a line change, getting a new set of forwards. As Janicki off his stick, it goes towards Tyler Gratton. Gratton will plop one towards the Kansas City zone near the Grizzlies bench as the players on the Grizzlies bench. Looks like icing on Utah. Actually, the puck's just going to come out towards center ice. Now it's going to be into the Grizzlies zone as Gratton just tried to dump it in. A couple members of the Grizzlies. Actually, it's going to be at center ice. Gratton tried to dump it in. A couple of the Grizzlies kind of ducked their head to make sure that they got out of the way, and it might have deflected off the glass inside the bench. So Connors will take the draw. 6:09 left in the second period. Today's crowd's probably about standard for what you'd normally get on a Sunday, although it is actually a pretty good Sunday crowd here at Maverick Center. Kansas City wins the draw. Zach Ewens down the middle of the ice. Now he'll veer off to his left, across the center ice, and he'll zip it around the roulette wheel. Connors gets the puck. He'll tap it off the boards. Kansas City gets it across to Ewens along the left wing. Ewens tries to get around Stucker. Stucker cuts him off. Boy, Robbie Stucker's been a strong addition to the Grizzlies over the last month. Stucker outlets it angle left. It's off the stick of John Gillette. Gillette, the 24-year-old first-year pro at a Holy Cross. Randall and Gillette hold each other near side along the Kansas City line. Now the Mavericks angle one towards their right. McCallum behind Bassey's net. The Mavericks will fit in a line change off a skate of Boislard. As Barbashev ahead towards Ricketts. Ricketts fires it off the boards, chasing after it, but Hudson Wilson collects the puck. Rink wide feed angle right towards Carew. Carew with a hot pass to the middle of the ice. And it goes past Berezowski. The Grizzlies get it back. Stucker with a left wing feed to Genev off this stick. Stucker just kind of guided it towards him. Genev off his stick. Now back to the right goal line. Genev has it. Cyrus to Ricketts. Shot and no goal, says the referee. Might have kicked off Eternus' right pad. Oh, we're looking there at Ricketts with a close call. As the Mavericks lofted towards Bassey. Maybe we'll see a replay during the next whistle. That one was a close call. As Ricketts looking to get Utah on the board, he got a great feed from Genev. Grizzlies back deep in their own zone. 4.5 minutes left in the second period. Mavericks outshot the Grizzlies 18-15, but Utah's had some good chances on Logan Turnus. Strong outlet pass angle right to Genev, who gets it to Connors. Connors over the offensive line, keeps his head up. He'll fire from the right side. It goes wide on a pass on a tough angle. Genev left wing shot, and that's blocked before it gets to Turnus. Puck hit the opps towards Turnus, the Kansas City goaltender, and he will cover up along the far goal line. 4:12 left in the second period. It's 2-0 Mavericks. As they're going to show the close call. And boy, Turnus made a great kick save with his right pad. It's the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
4 minutes and 12 seconds left in the second period. Kansas City leads 2-0. I don't know if that's Logan Turnus or Dominic Hasek in that. Well, he's dominated the Grizzlies every turn. Utah's had their fair share of scoring opportunities and really good ones at that. Like Jack Ricketts. His application for a goal was denied and rejected by Logan Turnus just a few seconds ago. So face-offs over in the left circle. It's an offensive zone one for Utah as Grizzlies win the face-off. As Salem gets towards Kennedy off his stick. Now Connors gets belted by a Maverick. As Kansas City towards the left wing, they cross center ice. As they will curl the puck around the boards. Stucker, he collides with low height. Stucker will knife it to the far corner. Kansas City gets there first. Lucas Sauder. Remember, he's got fresh legs. First time in this series. He'll drop it off. One-timer goes wide. That was taken by Jake McLaughlin, number 27, the longtime Maverick. Now McLaughlin gets it back just outside the left circle. He drops up top for low height. Low height left point. His righty shot blocker saved by Bassey. Mike Gillette. He gets held up along the boards by Sauder. Sauder, 5'11", 172 pounds, has 5 goals and a +7 rating this season. Stucker gets the puck behind Utah's net. The Grizzlies will switch up forwards. Utah with a strong outlet pass off the boards for Friesen. Friesen backhands it at 2-on-1. Lepster towards the right wing. He'll take a righty shot. It goes over the crossbar. Stays in play as it hits the top of the glass. Boy, Lepster just tried to roof it over the right shoulder of Turnus and didn't miss by much. Boislar, left wing. Lefty shot is collapsed by Turnus, and he will hold on. Boy, for the Grizzlies, you'd think about maybe just firing away on Turnus time after time and see if we can get something past him. I mean, for Turnus, this is the 3rd straight game that he's appeared in. As they show the replay of Lepster, boy, good look. There might have been a Maverick on the back check, so he just couldn't quite get all of the shot. Boy, Reed Lepster, he's one of those guys. He's connected early and often this season for the Grizzlies. 17 goals, which ranks tied for 4th in the league. So there's an even 3 minutes left in the second period. Grizzlies looking to find a way to get something generated here offensively. They've taken quite a few shots here in the second period. Off the draw, Boislar's shot. Saved by Turnus. Rebound out in front. And it kicks back towards the left point. Utah gets towards Colby He fires towards the net. Glove saved by Turnus. That one might have gone outside the cage had Turnus not gloved it. And after the whistle, Gratton and Lepster stare down a few Kansas City Mavericks. As Lepster and Gratton had the audacity to try to get a dirty, greasy goal. See that game in and game out, trying to win that real estate in front of the net. And against a guy like Turnus, he may take a screen in front where he doesn't see a shot coming in. May take, hasn't had many rebounds, maybe a rare rebound. You just get in the right place at the right time. For the Grizzlies, that area right there in the crease, right there in the paint, and the area just surrounding it might be where the Grizzlies can find some gold. Mavericks win the draw as Cotton over the offensive line. Mavericks have had a slide edge in the faceoff circle all weekend. Cotton behind the net as Enns engulfs the Maverick. Puck towards the far corner as Lepster gets it. As Reed Lepster outlets to center ice to Friesen. Friesen over the offensive line gets back checked by a triple team and taking it away is Casey Crew from behind. Zach Ewens along the near side. And now he'll skate towards the middle of the ice. Now Ewens pivots. Does a bit of a half circle. Will throw it around his net for Crawford in the near goal line. Back to Ewens. Kansas City still in their own zone. Ewens overskates the puck. He gets it back. Well, you can unfortunately just tell the fatigue has played an effect on both clubs here, as it's been a little bit sloppy in terms of handling the puck and things of that nature. About 2 minutes left in the second period. Puck goes to Crew. Crew will skip one in, angle right off the Grizzlies' corner. Now back towards the left side. Kansas City centered it, sticked away by Salem. Right side, toe drag, Mavericks righty shot, saved by Bassey. Shot was taken by the former Grizzly, Luke Lemaster. Minute 44 is left in the second period. And Grizzlies fans were a little bit sad to see Lemaster get traded. I know he was an impressive performer in the final month of last season. Lemaster in 16 games had 1 goal and 2 assists, and he was a +4 for a team that did struggle at times. Lemaster played in one of the 3 games for Utah on the first road trip of the season and then was traded in a 3-team deal. Grizzlies picked up the rights to Dante Sheriff, and eventually they flipped that over and acquired Stepan Timofeyev. Mavericks win the draw as they skate towards the right goal line. So you can essentially say that, losing Lemaster, they're able to get Timofeyev, who's been out for the last 5 games. Grizzlies certainly miss him. He's been a hardworking forward all season. Kansas City gets it around towards the far corner as Ricketts gets a good shoulder check from McCallum. Now off a stick as Mikey Quella's got a breakaway. Quella skates in, and he fires it over the crossbar. He thought he had some room over the left shoulder of Turnus, and he did, but just missed the net by a few inches. Quella will skate off the ice as he's towards the far side, cuts off Wilson. Ricketts in the offensive zone. I try to get to Geneva, and it's picked off. Robbie Stucker gets knifed away by Randall as the puck goes back to center ice. Well, a few breakaways, and the Grizzlies just haven't quite converted. As we mentioned, Quella believed he had some room just over Turnus's left shoulder. Just didn't quite have the accuracy. Kansas City will ice it all the way down. And the whistle blows with 42.1 seconds left in the second. Thank you for John Buchanan and Ryan Anderson, the Grizzlies players. Well, they know they're getting their chances. That's kind of been the tough thing about this second period. The Grizzlies have had plenty of chances. They had 9 shots in the first period. 4 were considered scoring chances. I'm really curious as to what the off-ice officials are going to say in terms of scoring chances for the Grizzlies. And I'm not sure if they'd count the breakaway for Quella when he missed the net, but, Friesen would be a grade A scoring chance, and it feels like the Grizzlies have had a lot of good opportunities here in the second period. I think that's the Eccles family in attendance. They're having a good time. I actually worked with one of those guys a long, long time ago in a place called Winder Farms. I thought I was going to work there for the rest of my life. Winder Farms, unfortunately, is no longer in existence. There's Brian. There's Jaden. We had a funny story there. We were going to the NBA draft in 2011. The NBA draft party the Jazz had. Off the draw, shot goes wide. 40 seconds left in the second period. With hockey, it's tough to really get stories in the middle of play, but Kansas City's got the puck. We were going through, driving to Delta Center, and as Souter falls down, and we get towards a yellow light, and I just cruise past this light and make it. As Lepster skates in right, so I'll have to tell the story during the intermission. As Lepster gets pushed to the boards by Low Height, 15 seconds left in the frame, 2-on-2 battle. As Kansas City will sky it out towards center ice, batted by Colby Enns. McLaughlin will get it towards Sullivan and goes past him. As backhanding it back in deep as Kennedy, and time runs out in the second period. We'll tell that story during the intermission. It's a pretty funny one. As Kansas City got 1 goal in the first, 1 in the second. Jackson Judding scored the second period goal for Kansas City, and that was 7:23 in. Grizzlies have had their chances, but just a couple times they missed the net, and on a couple of occasions, Logan Turnus has made some outstanding saves. The best save he made was that centering pass from Geneva to Ricketts, and Ricketts, his application for a goal was rejected by the right ankle of Logan Turnus. So after 2 periods, Kansas City leads 2-0. We'll come back and recap the first 40 minutes. It probably isn't that great of a story, but we'll tell it anyway. About driving to the 2011 and NBA draft party with a couple guys that are in attendance. They're in the car, and they could probably vouch for the story as well. But we'll tell that here during the intermission as well when we're killing some time, as fans are headed to the concession stands, and Kansas City's got a 2-0 lead. We'll come back and talk some hockey on the other side. You're listening to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the ECHL, celebrating its 38th season of affordable family entertainment. The ECHL would like to thank everyone in attendance for your support of ECHL hockey. The ECHL would also like to recognize the following league sponsors: AMI Graphics, exclusive signage provider; Athletic Knit, official jersey supplier; Baron Rings, official championship ring supplier; BFL Canada Insurance and Sutton Special Risk, sponsors of the 2026 ECHL Hall of Fame induction ceremony; Dash, official mobile auction platform; The Fairley Group, official commercial insurance provider; Flow Sports, exclusive streaming provider; Hotel Planner, official hotel reservations partner; Howie's Hockey Tape, exclusive hockey tape and lace provider; In Glasgow, exclusive puck provider; Prolific One, exclusive secondary ticketing partner; and Warrior, exclusive on-ice equipment provider and title sponsor of the 2026 ECHL All-Star Classic. Catch all of the ECHL action live in high definition by logging on to flowhockey.tv.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at uofuhealth.org.
Now we're back here at Mavericks Center as the Grizzlies and Mavericks do battle for the final time ever in the regular season. Utah's 35, 31, and 5 all time against Kansas City. And after two periods, the Mavericks have 2-0. But really the big story of that second period was after Judding scored 7:23, and it was his 15th of the year. Jack Randall and Drake Bergeron with the assist. The Grizzlies, boy, they had 4 or 5 golden opportunities. You think about the breakaway that Evan Friesen had. And really, when you got a breakaway and he had all the time in the world, you know, he's thinking about, do I go high? Do I go low? It almost looked like Turnus was kind of standing up straight, not really giving Friesen any indication, not kind of leaning one way or another. And so Friesen felt he had some room down low, and Turnus was able to close the 5-hole and keep it a 2-0 game. And then I think a little bit after that, Danny Genev had the puck on the right side, centered it to Ricketts. Boy, Ricketts just tried to slide it past the right pad of Turnus, and Turnus with a beautiful save off his right ankle to keep Utah off the board. You know, you're talking about good chances the Grizzlies have had, and they had them in the second period. Mikey Coella, in his third game as a Grizzly, had a breakaway, and he's, you know, it almost looked like Turnus was kind of giving him a little bit of room above his left shoulder, glove side, and he didn't miss by much, did Coella, native of New Jersey. And it's just, you know, just moments like that where, you know, Grizzlies just had those chances, and, you know, whether, and Logan Turnus, the Kansas City goaltender, has just played an outstanding game and has just denied the Grizzlies at every turn. Turnus is a first-year pro out of Burnaby, British Columbia, and he has saved all 18 shots so far. Dominic Massey for Utah has really held strong. He's got a .900 save percentage on the afternoon, stopping 18 of 20. Kansas City with 11 shots in the first period, 9 in the second. Grizzlies with 9 shots in the first period and 9 in the second. You're curious about the scoring chances that Utah had in the second period. Turned out they had 5 scoring chances among their 9 shots. Kansas City with 4 scoring chances of their 9 shots. Grizzlies did win the faceoff battle in the second period, 11-8. And so with that, the faceoff battle is now an even 21-21 tie. Grizzlies with 1 power play shot. Remember, they had the power play for the first 2 minutes of the second period. Kansas City did not get a power play opportunity in the second period. The Grizzlies played a disciplined 20 minutes of hockey. Grizzlies 7 hits to Kansas City's 5. And giveaways, Grizzlies with 4, Kansas City with 3. So 10 giveaways for the Grizzlies in 2 periods, Kansas City with 6. You know, just Kansas City with a goal in each period. David Cotton, 18:42 in, and Jackson Judding, 7:23 in. Jack Randall has 2 assists for Kansas City. Remember, he had 2 goals and 2 assists in last night's game. Marcus Crawford with his league-leading 36 assists. That came in the first period, and Drake Bergeron with the second period assists. So we'll see what happens in the third. Grizzlies coming into this weekend had been a pretty strong third period club. The Grizzlies do have a third period goal in 15 of their last 18 games. They came into the weekend with a third period goal in 15 of 16. They're going to need a little bit of a comeback attempt. You know, we did mention fatigue seems to have played a factor in today's game. Both teams are giving everything they can, but obviously both teams, you know, haven't given a good effort both Friday and Saturday nights in front of really good crowds. They're giving what they can, but obviously, you know, they're doing so pretty tired. Remember, both teams will have an all-star break starting tomorrow. Grizzlies will have Danny Genev representing the Grizzlies in the all-star game. Danny leads Utah with 4 shots today, and he leads the league with 145 shots on goal. Kansas City's going to have defenseman Marcus Crawford represent them, and head coach Tad O'Had is also going to the All-Star Classic. That's going to be played tomorrow evening in Allen, Texas. Unfortunately, it is the same time as the College Football National Championship game, which will be played by Indiana and Miami. So a busy night of sports tomorrow night. Handful of games in the league, 6 to be exact. Guy Carenza and Jared Youngman's Atlanta Gladiators get a 3-1 victory over the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. Former Grizzly Keaton Mastrodonato scored the lone Greenville goal, 1942 into the second period. Cipollone, Nolan, and Denemy had the Atlanta goals. All 4 goals in the game, the 3 for Atlanta and 1 for Greenville, came in the second period. Atlanta outshot Greenville 41-31. The Grizzlies' next opponent here at Maverick Center after a 3-game series in Rapid City next week will be against the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. Remember, Utah did pick up a 3-1 victory at Greenville in the regular season opener. And so Keaton Mastrodonato and the Swamp Rabbits will be in town. Should be an interesting one, January 28th, 30th, and 31st. One other game in progress after 2 periods. Bloomington leads Toledo 2-0. Toledo is 21-7-2-3 on the year. Other finals in the league, Maine defeats Worcester 4-3. Former Grizzly Andrew Nilsson scored a second period goal for the Mariners. Nilsson's been a strong contributor to Maine over the last couple weeks. In South Carolina, it's a 4-0 victory over the Savannah Ghost Pirates. Only 3 games in the National Hockey League today. 1 game's gone final. The Lightning defeat the Stars 4-1. Former Grizzly defenseman Charles Edward Dastu had 1 assist, and he played over 22 minutes. He played a pretty solid game. Dastu is a +1 for the Lightning as they defeat the Stars 4-1. Late second period, Red Wings lead the Senators 3-2. Detroit has outshot Ottawa 23-17. Ottawa's had a rough couple of weeks as Red Wings have a 3-2 lead. That game is late in the second period. Getting underway at 6 o'clock, the St. Louis Blues are at the Edmonton Oilers. So that should be an interesting evening game. Oilers are 24-17-8. And they're led by Connor McDavid, who has 30 goals this season, and he also has 53 assists. So 83 points for Connor McDavid, and it is just January 18th. We're only a couple weeks away from the Olympic break. That will stop the NHL season for 3 weeks, but the ECHL will keep going. So if you want to see live hockey, obviously the Mammoth are going to be out of town for the majority of February, and they won't be in action due to the Olympics. But the Grizzlies will have plenty of home games. In fact, they will have 4 home games in the second week of February. Idaho will be in town February 10th, and that will be the makeup game from was originally scheduled to be on December 28th. Then the Bloomington Bison will be in town February 13th, 14th, and 16th. And that February 16th game will be at 3:10. Watching on Flow Sports, there was the upcoming schedule. Grizzlies in Rapid City next week, and then the Greenville Swamp Rabbits will be in town. Next home game for the Grizzlies will be on Friday. Actually, it'll be on Wednesday night, January 28th. NFL playoffs are 2 games. The Texans-Patriots game has gone final. And the Patriots advance to the AFC Championship game. They defeat the Texans 28-16. C.J. Stroud, 4 interceptions for the Texans. Drake May, 3 touchdown passes. So it'll be the Patriots at the Broncos in the AFC Championship game. The NFC Divisional Playoffs, the Rams and Bears are underway. No score 5 minutes in. The winner of that game will face the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC Championship game. Good crowd here on a Sunday afternoon. Last of a 3-game series. Utah's looking to salvage the 3rd game of the set. Kansas City's won 11 in a row, and they've outscored opponents by close to 30 goals during the 11-game winning streak. They only allowed 1 goal in each of the first 2 games of this series, and they've just allowed 15 goals through 11 and a half games of this winning streak. The last time the Mavericks lost a game was against the Grizzlies, and that was on December 19th, and that was a game where the Grizzlies scored 7 goals on Jake McLaughlin, who's an outstanding goaltender. It was one of Utah's best 60-minute efforts of the season. So we see if the Grizzlies have a third period comeback in them, as Kansas City's got a 2-0 lead 40 minutes in. We'll come back and talk some hockey on the other side. You're tuned in to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to americafirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Grisby commutes to work by riding UTA. It gives him time to make friends and relax before arriving to the Maverick Center. But how can Grisby keep enjoying that feeling throughout the entire day? An idea! Utah Transit Authority, proud sponsors of the Utah Grizzlies.
After 2 periods, Kansas City leads Utah 2-0. Mavericks with a slight 20-18 edge in the shot count. Danny Genev leads Utah with 4 shots. Riley Connors has 3. Evan Friesen, Reed Webster, and Tyler Gratton each have 2 shots. Obviously, the Grizzlies, after today, we will be at exactly the halfway point of the regular season. It's game 36 of 72 for both the Grizzlies and Mavericks. Utah will be home for 24 of the final 36 games of the regular season. For the Mavericks, they will be at home for just 16 of their final 36 games. But that doesn't matter to the Mavericks, as they're 12-1-1-1 now on the road this season. Everybody dancing to YMCA. That's a popular one. How old is YMCA? That's got to be a song that's over, 40, 45 years old? And yeah, it's a timeless classic. For a Sunday afternoon, it's one of the bigger Sundays that we've had so far. I don't think we've had a Sunday home game yet this season, but if we're talking about over the last, I'd say 7 or 8 years, one of the bigger Sunday crowds we've had. We've had 3 really good crowds this weekend. We had close to 5,100 on Friday night, and then last night, over 6,100. We're here at Maverick Center, one of the biggest crowds of the regular season. I guess we'll tell that story. Remember, we saw the shot of the fan that I used to work with, and we actually went together to the NBA draft the draft party that the Jazz were holding at Delta Center, and we go there, and traffic is busy, and we get towards a yellow light, and do I stop? I can't stop. I'm going to like 50 miles an hour, so I just accelerate and get through this light. We all look up, and the light was red, but I got through it. And I could see those two were very concerned. As they're looking around, they almost looked like they were scared, and I simply tried to ease the tension. I said, made it. They laughed a little bit, but I'm just like, hey, we made it through this light. Don't worry about it. So we get there, watch a draft party. The Jazz drafted Enes Kanter and Alec Burks. That was the year Jimmer was drafted by the Kings. I think the Eggs actually drafted by the Bucks and then traded to the Kings. I wanted the Jazz to draft Kawhi Leonard, and they drafted Alec Burks instead, although Burks turned out to be a good player. But then we go home. Traffic is still bad. It's late June 2011. We get there, and I'll be damned, same thing happens. We get to the light, almost exact replay. Get there. I'm going about 50 miles an hour around Bangerter, and the light's yellow. I can't stop, so I go. We get through this light. It's red as we look up, but we get through it. And once again, I could see they were worried, and I said, made it. Apparently it turned into a running joke for those two over the years that they just always, anytime there was a yellow light, they just always say made it, or really when it was anything going on. So it's a running joke for them. It really wasn't that great of a story, but nevertheless, seeing them on the video board, their late second period brought up kind of a fun memory. That's just going to kill some time as we've had kind of an ordinary 2-0 game through 2 periods. We'll come back and have third period action on the other side. We'll see if the Grizzlies have a comeback in them. They have been a strong third period club over the last couple months. Kansas City leads Utah 2-0. We'll skate 5-on-5 on the other side. There they are right there on the dance cam. It's those guys right there, those two. That's the ones that I talked about with the NBA draft party. And they got to be thrilled. They're seeing themselves on the video board a good 3 or 4 times here so far, a couple times during the late second period stage. And they may come up and say hi after the game. You're listening to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Welcome back to the
We're 20, and yeah, we're celebrating big. Because in 20 years, we didn't just make the gear. We made hockey cooler. They said we were too loud, too flashy, too different. They told us to tone it down. The Warriors don't tone it down. We go full throttle. And this is just the start. 20 years in and we're just getting warmed up. We're still the brand that makes the gear you can win in, chirping, and partying. And if you thought we were bold before, just wait. The next 20 years start now.
Twenty minutes to put on the third period clock. We're skating 5-on-5 as Utah will start with a forward line of Tyler Gratton, Evan Friesen, and Reed Webster. Utah's had their fair share of scoring chances. In fact, Utah has 9 scoring chances to Kansas City's 8 through 2 periods. Grizzlies will start out with a defensive pairing of Robbie Stucker and Luke Salem. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Sunday afternoon as we're having a little bit of fun. 2-0 Kansas City with the lead. Mavericks win the draw. LeMaster head towards Carew. And at some point, I might have to drop the line, made it. As I think about that story, I didn't officially run the red. It was yellow by the time I got to the intersection. As Salem got the puck, nevertheless, it was 15 years ago. I think statute of limitations has passed. Berezowski throws it back to the Kansas City line. Grizzlies will skate from right to left here in the third period. LeMaster head to Carew will sweep it around the boards, cut off by Bassey, who's played a decent game as he saved 18 of 20 so far. Stucker back, and he will saucer it, get some air under it, skips past Webster and past Gratton, but it was redirected from Stucker on towards Gratton and neutralized to no icing. It's Mavericks with a right wing feed out to McCallum off his stick. McCallum will sky it in. Puck kind of helicoptered in the air, about the same height as the glass. Now towards the left side, Carew backhand shot, kick save off the right pad of Bassey. As now Ricketts gets the puck, he'll get it ahead towards Gratton. Gratton sporting a goatee. And on the back check, Crawford took it away from him. Crawford across to Ewens, hippity hops over his stick. Genev with the puck. And so he'll drop it back to a spot he vacated. Koala gets tripped up along the near goal line, no call. Referees let them play for the most part, and there's 2 of them, Dylan Sater and Harrison O'Prey. 2 referees in about half the league games this season. Genev, center ice, trying to locate the puck, went past him. Sullivan feeds it back to the Utah line. Hanson Bukata ahead to Ricketts. Ricketts left wing, and so get it to Genev in the corner. Genev over to Koala, but it hits the top of the boards as Koala tried to get it about waist high. Out to center ice, squibbed in by the Mavericks. Massey plays it behind his net. Hanson Bukata will saucer it ahead. Mike Gillette over to Genev. Genev left wing, lefty shot, and that one's sticked away by Turnus. Logan Turnus has played in all 3 games in this series. He's got to be a pretty tired goaltender. I remember goaltenders that used to play for the Grizzlies, they tell me they'd lose about 5 to 7 pounds per game. Just all that equipment, and it takes a toll on you. Kansas City gets back in. Boislar will feed it D to D, but it's overled for Stucker. Stucker will get it off the wall. The Grizzlies switching up the forward and defensive pairings quite a bit, kind of mixing and matching as Utah is going with 11 forwards and 5 defensemen this afternoon. Gavin off his stick. He'll veer off to the right. Gavin feeds it out in front. It bounced over. Now shot. And glove saved by Bassey. Boy, puck trickled towards Janicki, who was skating to the middle of the ice. Janicki didn't get all of it. Kind of fired a changeup at Bassey. But Bassey was able to glove it. Kind of ricocheted off his glove a little bit, but he was able to handle it and hold on. 17:29 left in the third. Still 2-0 Kansas City. Boy, if Bassey can play well in the third period, you're talking about building a little bit of confidence. Obviously, the Grizzlies, 3 games in 3 days this weekend, and they'll have another 3-3 in Rapid City. Bassey's got talent. He was a former draft pick by the Chicago Blackhawks. Played with 3 pretty prominent college programs. LeMaster right side. His shot is chipped off a Grizzlies stick and went over Bassey's head. Out to center ice. Kansas City gathers it, and they'll whip it angle right off a Hanson Bukata stick. Connors collides with Gavin. Gavin will push it back to Kansas City ice, where Luke LeMaster will take it. LeMaster wearing number 6 for the Mavericks. I recall, I think last year he wore a number in the 20s for Utah. As Mavericks get towards Jimmy Glenn, who sidestepped a Connors check, but lost his balance a little bit. Crossing center ice, Hudson Wilson rolls along the wall. I believe the Mavericks are going with just 5 defensemen. As Charlie Wright got injured in the first period on Saturday. As Barbashev over the offensive line, stops in the right point. I try to throw it cross ice. It's picked off by Berezowski. Jackson Berezowski, the former Newfoundland Growler, whips it along the boards, hits a stanchion, stops behind Utah's net. Massey is inside his net to kind of cut off an angle. As up top, Crawford over to Carew. Carew sporting a beard, skates towards Crawford. Now reverses the puck along the boards. As Ewens, toe drag, skates around one Grizzly, but loses control of the puck. Connors will throw it towards the Grizzlies bench, and it goes in the bench. Ricochets off at Colby Ends. And that stops play with 16-12 left in the third. So faceoff's going to be in the Grizzlies zone. Sensory-friendly day here at Maverick Center. Grizzlies will switch up skaters. Colby Ends is on the ice as a +1 this season. He'll stand next to Tyler Gratton. Thanks for hanging with us this afternoon. We know there's a lot of sports and entertainment options out there. Thanks for choosing the Grizzlies in their battle against the Mavericks. Kansas City wins the draw. Left side, McCallum. Righty shot blocker saved by Bassey. As Mavericks back towards the right wing. As they drop it off, McCallum collides with Hanson Bukata. 2-on-2 scramble. As Hanson Bukata and McCallum get physical with each other. Taking the puck is Evan Friesen. Striding along the left wing's Friesen. Chips it towards Gratton, but Gratton gets it cut off by Jake McLaughlin. Mavericks come back the other way, 2-on-2. Randall over the offensive line. Accelerates around Hanson Bukata. Skates in. Lefty shot. And Bassey might have made the save. Randall not sure if he got a shot off, but he kept control of the puck. Now left wing swing and a miss. They try to get it towards Jackson Judding, who scored the second period goal. He has 15 goals this season. As Bergeron gets head towards Randall. He stops on a dime, drops it in the right side for McCallum. As McCallum tried to pivot and he falls down. As Ricketts feeds it to the middle of the ice, Boislar will backhand it towards Danny Geneva, who accelerates over the offensive line. As Geneva across to Ricketts off his stick, puck to the left corner. Now it slides towards the boards as Sullivan whips it across, goes past Lepster off the wall. Now Lowhite gets it 1-on-2. Lowhite skates around Robbie Stucker. Met Robbie Stucker's father during the second intermission. Lemaster around the boards. Stucker's in his second stint with the Grizzlies. Robbie Stucker's been an impressive performer for the Grizzlies over the last month, and his parents are in attendance watching him play, and they're certainly proud of him. Low height, right side, righty shot, saved by Bassey, and he holds on. Boy, Dominic Bassey's looked good this afternoon. He's done a good job controlling rebounds, and he's kind of been compact. It's tough for a guy that's 6'6" to kind of stay compact, but boy, Bassey's played well. So both teams will switch up skaters. Not a whole lot of exuberance on either side. Both teams is kind of going through it. Obviously, both teams have had to drink a lot of fluids and kind of prepare for this weekend battle. Grizzlies will have 4 days off before facing Rapid City on Friday night. Kansas City will have a little bit of a break as well. Off the drop, shot by Janicki. Ricochets off a Grizzly stick on the way to Bassey. As Evan Friesen gets it head towards Mike Gillette. Gillette will chip it in. He's out there with Sean Kennedy and Evan Friesen. As Kennedy gets pushed to the boards by Lemaster. Kennedy, the former Birmingham Bull, as puck slides back to the middle of the ice. Diving to try to move it ahead was Gillette. As Glenn dumps it in. Mike Gillette towards the end of a shift, but he'll stay on the ice. Jimmy Glenn. As Hanson Bukata falls down. Glenn to the right goal line around Utah's net. Now Crawford back to the right side. It's off the Kansas City stick as they're trying to get it to Will Gavin. Kennedy towards center ice will plop it in. Grizzlies make a full line change. Kansas City will switch up skaters as well. We played 6 minutes of this third period. Nobody has scored in the final frame. It's still 2-0 Kansas City. They've outshot Utah 24-19. Centering pass. Salem dove to cut it off. Good defensive play by Luke Salem. Barbashev overskates it. Puck goes deeper into the Grizzlies zone. Right corner. As Mavericks get it up top, but it goes past Crawford. And all the way down deep in the Mavericks zone. No icing as Turnus will drop it in the near goal line for Crawford. As Marcus Crawford, the multiple-time All-Star, moves out to neutral ice. Now David Cotton skates along the right wing. He'll lay it for Carew as Riley Connors and Zach Ewens. Boy, they were battling, and then Crawford just kind of knocked down Connors. So who's the penalty on? Ewens and Connors were both going after it. Are they going to call it on both? Not sure. Ewens is going to the box. Looks like Riley Connors will as well. So we'll skate 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. There's 13:22. That's the time remaining in the third period. Kansas City leads Utah 2-0. It's the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to AmericaFirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Grisby commutes to work by riding UTA. It gives him time to make friends and relax before arriving to the Mavericks Center. But how can Grisby keep enjoying that feeling throughout the entire day? An idea! Utah Transit Authority, proud sponsors of the Utah Grizzlies.
"13 minutes, 22 seconds left in the third period. As Riley Connors and Zach Ewens, looks like Connors got a roughing minor and Ewens got a holding minor. So skate 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. Ice opens up a little bit. Casey has it tap off a skate. Now Jack Randall gets it back. He fires towards the net, and it goes high and wide as he fired it over the right shoulder of Dominic Bass, who takes up quite a bit of the net. That's 6'6" and about 195 pounds. Webster back towards Colby Enns. Enns hands Buchanan tape to tape. AHB crosses center ice down the middle. He feeds the Friesen. Puck got a little bit of air under it, about a foot. Friesen was able to corral it, but he's now battling with the Maverick. Jake McLaughlin takes control of it. Boislar replaces Colby Enns as Enns comes over the boards. Hanson Buchanan is replaced by Stucker. Kansas City's back deep in their own zone. Grizzlies skate from right to left here in the period. Kansas City angles one towards the left, and it goes towards low height. I'll make that Cotton. Cotton, number 13, a team leader for Kansas City, gets the puck taken away from him. Gratton over the offensive line. Make that Webster. Reed Webster towards the left wing, 17 goals this season. He fires towards the net. It's blocked by Crawford. Mavericks come back the other way. Grizzlies on the back check, but the Mavericks have numbers. Crawford down the middle of the ice. He'll skate in. Righty shot goes wide as he missed the net stick side on Bassey. As Crawford upset with himself. He's a candidate for the league's MVP award. Lemaster left wing skates around Bassey's net. Bassey recovers. Lemaster feeds up top. 30 seconds left in the 4-on-4 as Glenn will lay it for Lemaster. Lemaster dangling back and forth. He'll reverse his field. He'll slide it back to Jimmy Glenn, who had 3 assists last night. He plops it for Crawford, who skates towards left wing. Crawford slides it across, but it goes back to neutral ice. 14 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Janicki will skate back into his own zone. Will get it towards Crawford. Head towards Bergeron. He'll zip it towards his left. Off of Janicki's skate. Back towards Bergeron, but it goes past into the Kansas City line for Crawford. So now we're back to skating 5-on-5. Connors and Ewens. As Connors will skate towards the bench, and Ewens will join the play. Not a ton of action. Nothing really happened during that 2-minute 4-on-4 of much note. Ewens will fire it from center ice. It's gloved by Bassey, about chest high. And he's able to hold on. The whistle blows with 11:04 left in the third. As you mentioned a couple times, both teams are giving what they can, but it's just a lot of effort over the last 48 hours, and both teams are running on fumes. Jack Ricketts will take the draw, the first-year pro. He's one of 3 Grizzly skaters to have an AHL contract with the Tucson Roadrunners. Maxime Barbashev and Dylan Wells, the other 2. Ricketts has a point in 17 different games this season. Sullivan's kicked out of the face-off circle. Now it's Lucas Souter taking the draw. Souter, the first time he's played in this series, out of Trinity, Florida. Played previously overseas in the Ice HL. As Utah takes the puck, Danny Genev will race down the middle. Now he'll curl the puck towards his right for Ricketts. Ricketts gets bounced to the Kansas City bench. Luckily, he was able to stay in play and didn't go into the Mavericks bench. As Turnus back to the right side. Now right wing ends with a shot saved by Turnus. As Enns puts his stick behind him, kind of stretches a little bit as he knows he had a good chance. But Turnus made a nice blocker save and just kind of held it along his blocker. As Turnus Kansas City goaltenders, just one robbery after another. Looked like Geneva was trying to redirect the end shot. Came close to getting it, but Turnus was able to corral it cleanly. 10:46 left in the third period. Grizzlies still looking for their first goal, but they've had some good chances. Among the 20 shots, at least 10 scoring chances. So face-off won by Kansas City as they will race along the near wing. Skating from left to right, McCallum will slide it in. Chasing after it is Judding. Judding feeds it from one corner to the other. Randall off of McCallum's stick, and Geneva will cross center ice. Stops in the center ice, stopped at the center red line and lost control of the puck. As Ewens will backhand it ahead off the boards. Jack Randall. Boy, Randall had 4 points last night and 2 assists this evening. As Grizzlies getting physical, as Hanson Buchanan physical with McCallum. Now Hanson Buchanan down the middle of the ice. And so backhanded ahead for Ricketts off his stick. Puck slides horizontally. Stucker backhands it. As he gets to Geneva, but it glanced off his stick as Geneva was battling with Bergeron. Barbashev to the left corner. And he gets spun around. The Mavericks, Jake McLaughlin will skate around his net. He'll saucer it across towards Carew. Carew wobbles it to center ice. It goes past Berezowski. Linesman, though, says he got a piece of it. No icing. As running it down, it's Grizzlies' Boislar. His third game as a Grizzly. Played with Adirondack earlier this year. John Gillette gets the puck. He'll stride along the left wing. Gillette gets to center ice. And he'll collect it and he'll throw it in. Connor's trying to collect it as Barbashev and make that Berezowski lose control of the puck. Now Connor's across center ice. 9:16 on a moving clock, third period. Still Kansas City 2-0. Big hit delivered by Tyler Gratton, the Grizzlies captain, as he hit Jake McLaughlin. Now right wing Stucker, fire righty shot, and it goes high as Kansas City dove in front of Stucker, forcing him to go high. Glenn gets it ahead. Down the middle of the ice, Will Gavin's got a breakaway. Lefty shot, and it bounced off of Bassey. Good save by Bassey as Gavin trying to go stick side on him. Salem gets around a Maverick. He'll race out to center ice, and he gets knocked down by Luke Lemaster. Ahead to center ice. Now skating in is Janicki along the right wing, and Bassey sticked it away. Now slot. Bassey dives and leaps and leans. Stays in the crease, and it's still a 2-0 game. Kansas City, puck still alive. Lemaster feeds it towards Gavin. Now to the right circle. Lefty shot by Janicki goes wide. As that one ended up in Provo if the glass wasn't in the way. Lemaster fires a slap shot that misses the net. Recent collides with Kansas City. And icing is on Utah with 8:10 left in the third. Well, as we mentioned, both teams giving what they can, but they're running on fumes. Grizzlies will have an official all-star break over the next 3 days. I think they might head to warmer climates and play a little bit of golf. Have a good time, rest up for the Rapid City Series this weekend. So there's a lot of sticks on knees and players who are awfully tired. Boy, Bassey's been impressive. A nice poke check as the Maverick was skating in, and then Bassey dove and made a really nice save in the crease. Like Dominic Bassey's certainly been on point. He's making his Mavericks hit that center debut after playing in 2 road games earlier this month. He's made a strong impression. Face-offs in the left circle, and it's won by Utah as Luke Salem back towards the left corner. Backhands it ahead about 10 feet towards Ricketts. Webster will lob it ahead towards center ice, looking for Granton, but it's taken away by Kansas City. Lucas Souter collects the puck on the right wing at neutral ice, and he'll throw it in slowly to the right corner. Souter along with Stucker taking the puck as Ricketts, the first-year pro, who had 3 great scoring seasons in college. He'll sky it out to center ice, dropped by Low Height crashes himself along the near wing boards. His linesman, Andrew Collins, was nearby, tried to avoid the linesman, but lost control of the puck. Grizzlies get it ahead, overled for Mickey Koala, as Kansas City over the offensive line, surrounded by 4 Grizzlies. Colby Enns takes it, and he'll angle it to his left for Geneva. Back to Enns, who zips the angle right to Ricketts. Ricketts bounced one to the middle of the ice, but it was overled for Koala. As Geneva, the Brooklyn native, Koala from New Jersey. I think he's from Turnersville, is Mikey. And the Mavericks sky it down for an icing. If you go to Hockey DB, Mikey, they'll call him Michael, and some of the places have called him Michael. one of the colleges that Coelho played on. He was referred to as Mikey, and he was in training camp with a team in this league. And whoever the broadcaster was that put his name into the database had him as Mikey, Mikey. Out of Turnersville, New Jersey. Played with Northern Michigan for 4 years, where he was a teammate of Colby Enns. Last year in 36 games, had 4 goals at Canisius College. So he played with two pretty good programs. As Grizzlies have the puck towards the middle of the ice. John Gillette got his stick lifted. Still 2-0 Kansas City, less than 7 minutes left in regulation. So Grizzlies are looking for a comeback bid. Bergen guides it ahead towards McCallum as he gets pushed to the boards by Barbashev. He gets knifed away by Judding. Boislar skies it deep into the Kansas City zone as it taps off the glass. McLaughlin reverses his field and leaves Barbashev in the dust. A pass about shoulder high off of Carew. Casey Carew skates towards the right wing, tried to center it across to Cotton, but the pass was too hot for Cotton to get. About 6.5 minutes left in the third period. Barbashev gets it, and he'll fire it off the glass. It's gloved and dropped near the Kansas City bench as Hudson Wilson will guide it towards his right. Lemaster off of Stucker. Lemaster overskates it. Stucker tried to plop it to neutral ice, and Carew kept it in. Puck empty ops towards the far corners. They're trying to get towards Berezowski. Hands Mukata around towards Grattan. He gets cut off by Lemaster as Lepster and Wilson collide, skating along the left wing in the Kansas City zone. Mavericks get it back towards Hudson Wilson. Less than 6 minutes left in regulation. Wilson will helicopter it into the Grizzlies zone, but not enough steam for icing to get called. Ends to Salem. Salem zips it from blue line to blue line off the stick as they try to get to Friesen. Goes deep in the Kansas City zone. Crawford gets it across. Mavericks will move it ahead 2-on-1, but Salem gets to the puck before Janicki. Janicki cross-checks Salem in the back. Janicki's stick broke. Referee was right there, but he didn't make the call. Puck was laying at the Kansas City blue line. Whistle blows. Timeout on the ice, 5:23 is left. We'll see if the Grizzlies have a comeback in them. 2-0 Kansas City on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the ECHL, celebrating its 38th season of affordable family entertainment. The ECHL would like to thank everyone in attendance for your support of ECHL hockey. The ECHL would also like to recognize the following league sponsors: AMI Graphics, exclusive signage provider; Athletic Knit, official jersey supplier; Baron Rings, official championship ring supplier; BFL Canada Insurance and Sutton Special Risk, sponsors of the 2026 ECHL Hall of Fame induction ceremony; Dash, official mobile auction platform; The Fairley Group, official commercial insurance provider; Flow Sports, exclusive streaming provider; Hotel Planner, official hotel reservations partner; Howie's Hockey Tape, exclusive hockey tape and lace provider; In Glasgow, exclusive puck provider; Prolific One, exclusive secondary ticketing partner; and Warrior, exclusive on-ice equipment provider and title sponsor of the 2026 ECHL All-Star Classic. Catch all of the ECHL action live in high definition by logging on to flowhockey.tv.
.5:12 on a moving clock, third period. Kansas City leads 2-0. Mavericks in the offensive zone. They skate around Bassey's net as look for the wraparound, and Janicki had a glance off his stick wide. Mavericks outshot the Grizzlies 26-20. Been an impressive game for Dominic Bassey. He saved 24 of 26. Puck towards the right corner as time is on Kansas City's side. Mavericks the left goal line. They feed it up top. As Ewens fires towards the net into traffic, it's towards a goal line. Kansas City trying to poke it in, and can't see the goal light go off. Bassey tried to get his left arm in front of the puck to keep it out. Boy, and Kansas City, they're going to go to video replay. The Mavericks believe they've scored a goal. Referee didn't signal either way. Didn't see the goal light go off. They're going to take an extra look at it. Skating to the celebration aisle first is Will Gavin. Bassey and the Grizzlies believe that they've denied a goal. The goal light didn't go off. The referee, he was looking at it the whole way. He didn't signal a goal or anything of that nature. Maybe he said it verbally. All right, let's take a look at it on Flow Sports if you're watching. Puck kicked off the far post, laid towards the crease, and it's a good goal. Gavin tapped it in. It's going to be 3-0 Mavericks. Yeah, they showed the replay overhead. They're not showing it here at Mavericks Center, but they probably will once the replay is over. And if Dylan Sater sees what we saw in Flow Sports, it's going to be 3-0 Kansas City. As didn't go to the bat, it was one of those that crossed the goal line by probably 2 or 3 feet maybe. It wasn't like you hit the back portion of the inside part of the net, just in by a few feet. But Dylan Sater he must not have been able to see it. I think after it came in, I think Bassey tried to scoop it back out towards the crease. So they're taking a look at it on the tablet. Kansas City started a celebration aisle. We're not really sure what the call on the ice was, whether it was a goal or not. But we believe it's now going to be 3-0 Mavericks. So Cotton with the first period goal, Jutting with the second period goal. And it appears Will Gavin, who had 2 goals and 1 assist last night. Gavin's going to get his 4th goal of the year. Wonder if the tablet's working. They're taking a good long look at it. Boy, based on that one replay we saw in Flow Sports, that they didn't show it on the video board here inside the arena. But it really should just take that one view if the tablet's even working. That's where you got to wonder what the call on the ice is, whether it was a good goal or not. Now Harrison Brett looks like we might need a little bit of IT assistance. We got the 2 referees over there, and they've asked linesman Andrew Collins to come over. And Andrew Collins, I'm not sure if he's the IT professional of this officiating crew, but now they're going to take an extra look at it. That's where you want to know what the call on the ice was, whether it was a good goal or not. Unfortunately, for many of the teams in this league, they don't have a ref mic to where they can tell us what the call on the ice was. But nevertheless, the 3 are looking at it. Are they looking at an empty tablet? Are they watching the NFL playoffs? Are they watching the 3rd period of the Red Wings Senators game? We're not entirely sure. Because really, based on the one look we had, it looked like the puck crossed the goal line. So if the original call wasn't a goal and they can't see anything, here it is again. If you're watching on Flow Sports, Bassey kicked his right leg out. It ricocheted off the far post, and then Gavin jabbed it in, and then Bassey quickly scooped it back towards the crease. So referee is going to come out of the scores table. Dylan Sater gets a pat in the back from Harrison O'Prey, and no goal. Well, stays 2-0. I don't think the tablet was working, and I don't think that he signaled a good goal on the ice. So it's still 2-0 Kansas City. And I'm not sure they're going to show a replay here at Mavericks Center, because a replay would show you something a little bit different as to what the call on the ice was. So Grizzlies catch a break here late in the 3rd period. Oh, they are going to show a replay. Oh, boy. The Grizzlies, they caught a break there. So it's 2-0 Kansas City. There's 4 minutes and 44 seconds left in regulation. So Mavericks win the draw. I think the officials are told not to look at jumbotrons or things of that nature, but that's why I was wondering if the tablet was working. I'm not sure it was, and I think the call on the ice was a no goal, and so they just stuck with it. Puck around the boards, a hippity hops to the near wing wall. Action in the Grizzlies zone. Time is on Kansas City's side. As with every bit of second. Now, it could be that there was interference by Gavin. And that might have been why they had signaled no goal. Not necessarily about the puck crossing the goal line, but maybe Gavin had ran into Bassey as both guys were playing the puck in the crease. Maybe Gavin got a piece of Bassey, and that's why there was no goal. McCallum gets it deeper into the Grizzlies zone, so it could have been goaltender interference. And that might have been why there was no goal in the play. Obviously, the puck crossed the goal line, but that must not have been the factor. It was Gavin running into Bassey before throwing it into the net. So goaltender interference, we believe, is what the ruling was. Definitely not about the puck, whether the puck crossed the goal line or not, because it definitely did cross the goal line. Interestingly enough, Kansas City, their bench did not really argue it. Didn't see much of a verbal argument from Kansas City. So they were just accepting maybe that was goalie interference. As Kansas City has the puck, Bassey's still in there, as McCallum will plop it in, just kind of lofting it towards the far corner of the Grizzlies zone. Grizzlies skate from right to left here in the third period. Puck up towards Crew, who backhands it ahead to the Utah line. Now Evan Friesen gets it. He'll drop it for Gratton as Grizzlies are over the offensive blue. Gratton fires lefty shot. Glove saved by Turnus. He holds on with 2:58 left in the third. Sometimes they talk about, jinxes and jinxing shutouts and whatever. Has to be the Kansas City broadcaster that jinx it, because I have no effect over it. I could yell shutout, 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 and it's not going to really matter in terms of Logan Turnus. Turnus did have one shutout 2 years ago in the 2023-24 season for Ohio State. Before he was at Ohio State, he played 2 years at the University of Wisconsin. He had one shutout during the 2022-23 season. So timeout Grizzlies, as Bassey's being pulled for the extra attackers. The Grizzlies will have an offensive zone draw in the left circle. So we believe that it was a goalie interference call, and that's why the goal was not allowed. That would have been scored by Will Gavin. And Gavin did get a piece of Bassey. Both guys almost looked like they were going after a loose puck, but maybe Gavin just kind of charged in there just a little bit more, and just enough to make sure the goal didn't, to not count it as a goal. So the Grizzlies, this is the time of game, for any team really. Grizzlies, your six best offensive players probably are out there, especially with the 30-second timeout. You get enough time to get people rested. For Kansas City, whether it's a one-goal game or a two-goal game, this is the kind of situation. Their three best defensive forwards and their two best defensemen, who the coach trusts on either side, because they're the ones on the ice right now. For the Grizzlies, it's Lebster, Ricketts, Gratton, Connors, Genev, and Hanson Bukata. That's the six-man unit for the Grizzlies. Nolan Sullivan will take the draw for Kansas City. Ricketts, with Manning out of the lineup last 10 games, has taken some of the big face-offs for Utah. Hanson Bukata fires towards net, blocked by Sullivan. Genea backhands out in front. It goes behind the net as Gratton tried to sweep one out in front. Now Gratton gets it back, skates along the near goal line. Kansas City builds a wall as Gratton couldn't quite get through it. Puck towards the left circle. Scramble play off a few sticks. Hanson Bukata drops for Lebster. 2.5 minutes left in the third period. Over to Hanson Bukata. One-timer saved by Turnus. Grizzlies skate in, and Turnus denies them. Kansas City throws it up and not out. Lebster drops for Hanson Bukata. High slot. Kick saved by Turnus as Hanson Bukata fired towards the net on the low liner. Utah's net is empty. Kansas City leads 2-0 as Turnus is trying to complete the shutout. Mavericks throw it in. They skate after it. Kansas City left corner. Sorry, pass shot and a score. Cotton to Berezowski to the back of the net. Berezowski's fired up as he gets his fourth of the year, and this baby's in the refrigerator with 2:14 left in regulation. The Mavericks of the celebration aisle. David Cotton's going to pick up an assist. He will have a multiple-point game with 1 goal and 1 assist. Berezowski with the goal, Cotton, and the former Grizzly Luke Lemaster picking up his 6th assist. His 5th as a Mavericks. He had 1 assist in 1 game with Utah this season. Just the perfectly located pass as Lebster had extended his stick. Cotton couldn't have put it any better in a better spot for Berezowski. So the only thing really in doubt as to whether the Grizzlies can find a way to pick up a goal here and deny Logan Turnus of his first pro shutout. He had 2 college shutouts, one with UConn and one with Ohio State. Kansas City is Bassey is in net. As entering from the right side, Gavin, centering pass, shot, saved by Bassey. Well, good stop by Bassey as he just kind of lunged forward a little bit. Boy, Kansas City with a beautiful centering pass to the crease, and Bassey made a nice save. Boy, Dominic Bassey, he stopped 50 of 60 in his first 2 games, both of them on the road. Obviously, the empty netter doesn't go to his record, so he has saved 24 of 26. He's played himself a good game. Kansas City wins the draw. Slot. That shot's kicked away. Might have been blocked off the Maverick. Lucas Sauter. Boy, that one smarted Sauter as he's got one glove off. Looked like that one hit him a little bit. He looks like he's hurt. Sauter, incidentally enough, was replacing Charlie Wright in the Kansas City lineup. As Barbashev over to Freese, and they try to get it back to Barbashev in the give and go, and Azurai. Kansas City skies it towards the video board, and it hits the video board to stop play with 1:21 left in the third. Seen that a couple times this year. I wonder if that's happened at Delta Center with their big video board around center ice. Just kind of loop one as high as you can. I think I've seen one occasion, well, it was probably a few years ago, somebody skied it over the video board and somehow didn't hit it. It was pretty close towards the roof. So there's 1:21 left in regulation. As Friesen wins the draw, Salem dances around in the high slot, dropping for Barbashev on the right wing. Barbashev lefty shot, saved by Turnus. Colella and Friesen were out in front of the net, but Turnus was able to make the stop. Grizzlies up to 22 shots, and Logan Turnus has saved them all. This is about the range of shots the Grizzlies have had in all 3 games of this series. They had 22 shots on Friday, 25 shots last night, and 22 here today. Kansas City has won the shot count in all 3 games of this series. Mavericks win the draw. Kansas City has won 11 in a row, and barring a miracle, looks like they'll be on their way to 12 in a row. Grizzlies look to center it, pass behind Freese, and it goes all the way down. Bassey cuts it off at the near goal line. And even if it's not going to be a Utah victory, only Bassey with 24 out of 26 in the save department. Grizzlies ice the puck as they're looking for either of the Gillette brothers at neutral ice, and it goes past both of them. Like Bassey, you talk about a little bit of a confidence builder. He's had to make some good saves in the third period, and he's really come through. Bassey, the 4th different goaltender to appear in a game for the Grizzlies this season. Actually, might be the 5th goaltender to appear in a game for the Grizzlies. As Kyle Kaiser, he's performed well for Utah, but he's up in Colorado. Dylan Wells leads Utah with 7 victories. Casimir Kaskasuo had a shutout in his lone Grizzlies appearance. Dryden McKay started the year with Utah. And I saw he got an AHL call up for about a weekend worth of time as the puck off a scrum plops off the protective netting with 38 seconds left in regulation. And so Bassey, the 5th different goaltender to appear in a game for the Grizzlies. It's his 3rd game this month and his first year at Mavericks Center. So knowing that the Grizzlies have 3 games in 3 days next week, if it's going to be the goaltending combination of Wells and Bassey, the Grizzlies will feel confident enough with Bassey and, for Dylan Wells. He's a good goaltender. It's been a little bit of a struggle for him, but, he's capable any given moment. Former 5th-round pick by Edmonton. Wells has appeared in 1 NHL game, and I know that Dylan Wells will have a strong second half of the season for the Grizzlies. He's got a strong work ethic, and he's an outstanding guy. Very happy-go-lucky guy, and I know Dylan Wells will turn it around the second half of the season. 16 seconds left, and Kansas City might stand behind Logan Turnus for the remainder of regulation. Logan Turnus had 2 college shutouts, 1 at UConn and 1 at Ohio State. And he saw 22 saves here tonight. And in the 3rd game in 3 days for Turnus, he gets a shutout. He allowed just 2 goals in the 3-game series. Final score from Mavericks Center, Kansas City 3, Utah 0. Dominic Bassey on the Utah side stopped 22 of 26. Grizzlies had quite a few good chances among those 22 shots, but just couldn't get one past Logan Turnus. Kansas City's winning streak extends to 12 straight, and the Grizzlies have now lost 8 in a row. Utah will be on the road for a 3-game weekend series against the Rapid City Rush. January 23rd and 24th will be home. Will be 7 o'clock games, and Sunday, January 25th, will be at 4:10. The Grizzlies will be back on the Mavericks Center ice for a 3-game series against the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. That's going to be January 28th, 30th, and 31st. So tough loss for the Grizzlies, tough weekend as Kansas City outscored Utah 14-2 in the 3-game set. Now with that, I believe we'll start the post-game report as the Grizzlies had their chances, especially in that second period. A couple breakaways and had some good looks. You talk about a third period performance. Dominic Bassey held strong to keep the Grizzlies within striking range. But the Mavericks come away with a 3-0 victory. And really all weekend, it wasn't necessarily the big guns that have produced all year for them. For Kansas City, kind of like what's been a formula for them all season. It's been a combination of players that have gotten it done. To recap the scoring, Kansas City got a power play late in the first period as Aiden Hansen-Buchanan got a high sticking minor 17:37 in. And a minute 5 into the power play, it was David Cotton getting his 13th of the year, with Marcus Crawford and Jack Randall getting the assists. Mavericks outshot the Grizzlies 11-9 in the first period. In the second frame, both teams had 9 shots. Jackson Judding scored 7:23, and it was his 15th goal of the year. Jack Randall and Drake Burgeon with the assists. In the third period, Mavericks had 8 shots, and the Grizzlies had 4. As Kansas City outshot Utah 28-22. While it was a 2-0 game, Will Gavin believed he extended the lead. As there was a loose puck in the crease, Gavin just kind of dove towards Bassey, and the puck did cross the goal line, but it appears a goaltender interference was called on Gavin. It wasn't a penalty, but it did disallow the goal, and that kept it a 2-0 game. For watching on Flow Sports, there's the highlights. And Logan Turnus, he was a highlight machine all series long. Kansas City did score the empty netter with Jackson Berezowski on the perfect feed from David Cotton, 17:46 in. So the Mavericks put up a picket fence in the scoring sheet. 1 goal in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and that was enough here this evening. And Dominic Bassey, talking about positive, Bassey really held strong and made enough key saves to keep the Grizzlies in the game. Officially, his stat line is 25 of 27. Obviously, the empty netter doesn't go on his credit, on his name. So Bassey really did hold on. He held strong and played a good game. The Grizzlies did have some looks in the second period. A rare rebound there as they show Turnus didn't allow many second chances. And unfortunately, the last couple weekends, Grizzlies have faced goaltenders who have just been hot. Last weekend it was Jordan Paperny for Tahoe, and this weekend it was just Turnus, denying the Grizzlies at every wake. There's Kansas City's second goal as Judding just skated along the left wing. Puck ended up trickling towards them, and Judding with all sorts of momentum was able to put it away. Friesen had a breakaway. And I think if he had to do it over again, I'm not sure that he would do anything different. He went low. I think that was what he was rating. He thought he could get one through Turnus and just couldn't quite get there. Mikey Coella had some good chances in the second period for the Grizzlies, including a breakaway. Turnus isn't a very big guy, 6'1", 174 pounds. Gets some more done with technique and quickness. Bassey made a big save there from the right wing on a toe drag from Luke Lowhite. Just one of those things. Grizzlies have been a strong offensive club in the month of December. In fact, the Grizzlies at one point were towards the 10th best offense in the league, and right now the Grizzlies are 5th in the league in shots per game, but they were denied by Kansas City. The most shots the Grizzlies had in the game this weekend was 25. As they continue to show the highlights on Flow Sports, both teams are pretty fatigued, but they gave what they could. Grizzlies at times got physical here tonight. Bassey with that 6'6" frame, he takes up quite a bit of the crease and quite a bit of the net and utilized his size pretty well. Gavin dove towards the puck and landed on Bassey, and then Bassey wanted goaltender interference, and he was able to get the call after video replay to keep it a 2-0 game. And then Kansas City scored the empty netter towards the end. Kansas City was 1 for 1 on the power play. Grizzlies were 0 for 3. And for Kansas City, they've now won 12 in a row. Grizzlies were the last team to beat them. That was on December 19th. Final regular season meeting all time between the Grizzlies and Mavericks. Utah will finish up the series with a record of 35, 32, and 5 all time against the Mavericks. Let's go to the 3 stars of the game. Third star is Jackson Judding. He scored Kansas City's second goal. Judding was a +1 and had 2 shots. Second star was David Cotton. He had 1 goal and 1 assist. He was a +1. He only had 1 shot, but he made it count. And the number 1 star is the goaltender, Logan Turnus. He was the number 1 star on Friday night as well. And he stopped all 22 shots as Kansas City gets the victory. 3-0 was the score. 28-22 was the shot edge for Kansas City. Luke Lohite didn't have any points, but he led Kansas City with 7 shots. On the Grizzlies side, Danny Geneva had 5 shots. Tyler Gratton had 4. Riley Connors had 3 shots. A couple skaters with 2 shots, including Friesen, Lepster. Mathieu Boilar also had 2 shots on goal. Grizzlies will be off for their All-Star break, so I won't get into any practices in. It'll be a 3-day All-Star break, and then Thursday they'll fly to Rapid City. Unfortunately, unless we can find a plane ticket this week, we'll be doing remote broadcasts. The Grizzlies will be over in the Black Hills taking on the Rapid City Rush. And we'll just see if the Grizzlies can find some success over in the Black Hills. They'll be going up against former Grizzlies Cameron Buell, Briley Wood, and Ryan Wagner. For Kansas City, obviously they've won 12 in a row. Their next game will be a home game, January 23rd. They'll have a 2-game series next weekend against the Tahoe Night Monsters. So that should be an interesting series considering that Tahoe is in 3rd place in the Mountain Division with 47 standings points. And obviously next weekend, the Grizzlies will be looking for some offensive success against the Rapid City Rush. So a tough weekend for the Grizzlies, but now we are at exactly the halfway point in the regular season. This is the Utah Grizzlies final hunt. Utah's got a record of 13-20-3. They're just 3-10-1 here at home, but they will be at Mavericks Center for 24 of their final 36 games. For Kansas City, the record is 27-7-1-1. Thanks for sticking with us all weekend, and please join us for the second half of the regular season. Grizzlies will be on the road. Next broadcast will be on Friday night. 6:50 pregame show. Face off at about 7:05 as the Grizzlies will be over in the Black Hills to take on the Rapid City Rush. And unless we can find a plane ticket, we'll be in the Professional Green Studios next to the Grizzlies team store. I'll just about wrap things up. Time of game was 2 hours and 26 minutes in front of a good Sunday crowd of 3,938. 39-38 the attendance tonight. Grizzlies had good chances, but couldn't get one past Logan Turnus, who gets his first professional win. He did have 2 college shutouts, one at UConn and one at Ohio State. I'm Tyson Whiting, and I'm just pursuing my dream, and that's to someday get to the National Hockey League. You've been listening to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network. Good night, everybody.